Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live show. I have King Tony backstage. I'm going to bring her up in a second, and we are going to dive into alien stuff. I'm a little nervous, but we're gonna get into it. Oh, just to let everybody know, that little intro, the whole like alien intro that we just saw, Vern did that for me for this show. He was like inspired by the theme, and I didn't ask him to do that, or I didn't even know that that was gonna be here. He just said, when you do your show, check the brand section because I did a video for you, and I was like, okay, great, I'm gonna watch it the day of. So I just saw that with you guys. I loved it. Amazing. Okay, so really quickly, I'm going to say hello to everybody in the chat, and then I'm going to bring King Tony. So let's say hello to John Marciano, Colty, Vern. Thank you so much for that, Vern. I loved it. Rebecca or Becky. Okay, let me see who else is here. Dinah lost again. Welcome. Shaq, welcome. He says, hello, all. I want to believe. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, we got King Tony. We have Pamela Wright. Welcome. How can I contact you with my story? Great question. So I will put my email in the chat and also in the description just in case after the stream is done. Jay, welcome. Jay, is J Dubs or J Bus an alien? Okay, we have Leonard Smith. Hey Ruby, I just found your channel through another YouTuber, Monica. Oh, nice. Kind of cool. Hey Tad, all the way from Japan. We got Empath Lady. Oh, thank God you are here, because this is like a continuation of the last conversation. So this episode is dedicated to your subject. I have the link to join the stream in my chat, live chat on my channel, but I'll put it here for Vern's channel as well. Okay, we got President Donald J. Trump in the chat. I love it when people do that. Crystalline Goddess, hello, welcome to the show. And King of Dots, as someone who was almost killed searching for aliens, no, Earth is God's only creation yet. Awesome. Oh, if you would like to do the poll on my chat, I did a poll. Do you believe in aliens? Yes or no? You can do the poll, but also let me know in the chat. All right, without further ado, let's bring King Tony.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, welcome. I think Vern has like a clapping thing. I'm going to applaud your entrance. Ready?
No, that intro was official. Really good. Had me intrigued.
Right?
I was going to say for a second, I thought it was you who did that. I was like, oh, Ruby's getting good with this stuff.
No, that's why I love collabing. And I see Lily backstage. I'm going to bring you up in just a second. Stay with us. That's why I like collaborating with other YouTubers, because we all have different gifts and we can come together and share it with each other. Yeah. I told Vern, listen, whatever it is, I'll give you money if I have to. Let's keep this. We have a good thing going. Let's keep it going. Okay, and welcome to the show, Lily.
Hello.
I'm so glad.
Can you hear me?
Join. How are you?
Good. I brought another YouTuber to the channel, and whenever she can, she'll, I guess, connect. She has a channel. It used to be called I Am Monica, and I found her like 8 or 9 years ago. She was talking about her JW experience, and I was crying my eyes out listening to her. And so she has been through a lot of experience. And as far as being out of the religion, she started her own channel. Over the years, she's done a tremendous amount of videos. She has an audience, and we just told her audience, she gave them like 10 minutes notice, and that's it. And so some of her audience will come over, and her emblem says Crystalline Goddess, but she is I am Monica, or Monica. And so whenever she's able to join, I guess she will. But she's definitely the lady in the know about religions and things like that, because she tried just about every religion there was after JW.
Okay. Crystalline Goddess, the link to join StreamYard is in the chat on if you're watching on Fixing My Faith's channel, but it's also pinned to the top of my chat on my channel, Ruby Quinn. So you would add, I'm streaming from both, so it's kind of like you would have to switch over.
She's on Ruby Quinn.
Okay, so it's pinned to the top. So if she can join us, that would be awesome. I actually got some trailers in preparation for the UFO discussion, and so I wanted to show it just to give, to give us an idea of what we're going to be talking about. Okay,
and
so
and Jimmy, I talked to him just a little bit ago. He said he was going to be about a half hour or so late.
Okay, so let's just welcome Crystalline Goddess. You got it. Welcome.
Hey.
Make sure you're okay. We can hear you.
Hey guys.
Okay, so okay, awesome. So we have everybody here, and I want to just present these trailers just to give everybody an idea of what we're going to be talking about, because my first introduction to this whole like disclosure project or just aliens in general has just been really like surface level, like Men in Black type of movies, like something funny and just easy. But when Jimmy shared that video on Twitter, that's when I really dived into this guy's YouTube. So I want to show, this is one of the most recent trailers from Dr. Stephen Greer, and this is in 2023, just a trailer of the type of content that this guy makes. So I'm just gonna play it.
No. Unidentified flying objects is an obfuscating term.
This is an alternative energy and propulsion device. Between the late 1800s and now, the ingenious inventions and sciences have all been ruthlessly suppressed, confiscated.
It reads like a James Bond movie, but it's real. They happened here in the United States.
We mastered gravity control here on Earth, not extraterrestrial. These are projects that are off the radar, even of the people who manage the Black Project.
When someone asks me how bad is the crisis, I kind of don't know where to begin.
So there's something nefarious afoot.
These technologies would end fossil fuels, pollution, and poverty overnight.
That's pretty intriguing.
This lost century of technologies that have existed, that have vanished, is the biggest cover-up and scandal in the history of the world.
Okay, so that was just one trailer that I wanted to show you. Also, King Tony, I forgot to send you the actual documentary that he's making. But this is the guy who we were talking about previously last week. He's really into like this UFO world, that he kind of recruited a lot of high, top government people that no longer work for the government, but now they do this project with him. And so I guess it's just kind of like a self-funded thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Ruby, he was, I believe, a heart surgeon, and I'm not exactly sure the history on how he got to be kind of the face of disclosure, but what my understanding is, going back a lot of years, like 50 years, various people within the military organizations, like pilots especially, it's like who would they talk to? Because whenever they would report, what they saw out their window, or people on an airplane would say something, there eventually became an organization within the government that was taking these things down and noting these things. And so there has been government people who know and who report all this stuff. It's that they basically haven't been sharing it with the public really on any level other than to try and create disinformation. And Project Blue Book, which they actually eventually made a television show out of, was an actual project. It may have had a little different name, but it was where there was, they used to call them Men in Black, a team that would go out and investigate and try and downplay in these people who had experienced it, to try and not let it get out or to discredit those things in some way. So there's been a conscientious effort to shield the general public from that. They have been knowing about this for longer than any of us have been alive.
Right. Okay. So if I may, Crystalline Goddess, is there another name that you would like me to refer to you?
You can call me Monica.
Okay, that's much easier. Okay, Monica, thank you. So this is your first time here with us. So if you would like to give us a quick introduction of like who you are, your background, and then you can go into like the alien stuff if you have anything that you would like to share.
Okay, absolutely. Well, I'm an old timer. I grew up in the truth, as they affectionately call it. That's the only thing that I've ever known. I was, that my earliest memory was I was want to say like 3 or 4 years old, sitting in the Kingdom Hall. And at the age of 12, though, I recall sitting in the Kingdom Hall, watching the brothers and sisters nodding their head in agreement, and the sisters dabbing their tears about how wonderful it was to be in Jehovah's spiritual paradise. And I'm like, something must be wrong with me, because I don't feel like I belong here. So I said, I reasoned that I must be a goat in a whole congregation of sheep. At 12 years old, I knew that something was wrong with this. I call it a cult now. However, I stayed in this religion for years and years and years throughout my adult life, on the fence, knowing inherently that something was wrong, but so afraid of being cut off from my family, because once you turn your back on the organization, then they have to treat you like you're spiritually dead. So I would say, so I continued being on the fence, staying, knowing that it was, that I didn't believe it, but at the same time still had that little sliver in the back of my mind, what if, I'm wrong. And those of us that are ex-Jehovah's Witness, you kind of know what I'm talking about. You know that it's wrong, but at the same time you're thinking, well, what if I'm wrong? So you have that kind of that thought. But anyway, that went on and on and on for years. But my father was dying in the hospital, and he was devout Jehovah's Witness. They would see Brother Singleton coming, and everybody would run because he had a track in his pocket, he had a track and a watchtower, and he awake somewhere, and they say, "Oh, here he comes! Take it, run the other way!"
Oh.
And he would know, and he would ambush him back on the other side. He was a devout brother. But anyway, on his deathbed, he says, "Monica, please don't let me wake up in the new system and you're not there." He says, "Stay in Jehovah's organization, get in the center of the organization, Monica. That is Jehovah's, that's the ark. Get in the center of the ark." And I promised him, I said, okay, Daddy, I will, because all these years I'd been on the fence. So on my dad's dying bed, I said, okay, I'm gonna make the truth my own. So several months after my dad passed away, I decided, I need to do this. It was kind of gnawing at me. So I started going back to the meetings again, and joined the ministry school again, and going out in field service again, and knocking on doors. But then I felt like a hypocrite, because there's things that I didn't fully understand, like the whole 1914, the presence of Christ, invisible presence of Christ, 607 BCE nonsense that I realize it is now, but I never understood that. And that question kept coming up, and I could not explain it. So make a long story short, I kept going back and forth with the elders, trying to figure this thing out. And ultimately they told me, Monica, you just don't have Jehovah's Holy Spirit. And if you get enough of Jehovah's Holy Spirit, then you will understand. So you just keep trying. You just keep going through the motions, and you keep praying, and Jehovah will tuck it in your brain. Well, it didn't work. So I decided to go outside of the organization, outside of jw.org, that they told us do not go. And it was so weird, because here I am sitting in my own house. I'm telling you how the mind is just, we're just, our mind is just fried. I'm sitting in my own house, and I'm scared to death to do research on Jehovah's Witness organization. Wow. I'm scared that Jehovah's going to strike my ass. Oh, I shouldn't say ass. He's going to strike me down, for on the keystrokes, trying to look for this information. But finally I did. Finally got the courage. And I'm telling you, it takes a lot of courage to open that curtain and look. It takes a lot. But when I looked, and all that information poured in, stuff that I had never heard of, I was devastated. But it also gave me confirmation that I was right all these years, that something was wrong. But
how old were you? How old were you, Monica?
I'm sorry?
How old were you?
Again?
What age were you?
Woman, that was only about 10 years ago. I'm 68 years old now. I'm 68.
Wow.
This was only 10 years ago. It took me that long to wake up. Let's say I was just dream walking, because I've been awake, but it took something for me to just, hey, boom, there it was. And again, I knew something was wrong, but at the same time, it felt like the rug had been pulled from underneath me, because that's the only thing I knew. So now I questioned every single thing, everything. And that caused me to go down this rabbit hole of seeking the truth. I am a truth seeker. I'm checking under every rock, every nook, every cranny. When I get the onion, for a while there, I thought I had the answer. Oh, this is it. Nope. And you keep peeling back, and there's another layer of aha. Oh my, I didn't know that. And you pull another layer. Aha. Oh, this is it. I got it now.
Multiple awakenings. Yes.
That little membrane, that little tiny little sliver, that little membrane, you pull that back, and it's a whole nother dimension.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's so much that we do not know. So much that so much truth has been distorted. So much truth has been withheld. There's a lot of stuff that has been ingrained in our heads that we believe as the truth. But when you start digging, oh baby, once you open that box, you can't put it back in. And the Bible, that started my whole journey. I decided I was going to read the Bible cover to cover. I know a whole bunch of scriptures, but I had never read the Bible cover to cover. So I decided that's what I'm going to do. So I started in Genesis. I couldn't get past chapter 2 of Genesis, because I recognized something. It was like a veil was pulled off of my eyes of things that I had never seen before. But I could see definitely between chapter 1 and chapter 2, there were 2 creation stories. 2 creation stories, the Yahuwah Elohim and the Elohim. And then once you start researching the names of everything, Elohim means council of the gods, plural, masculine and feminine. It opened up a whole new world. And I got to digging into the Sumerian text, the Nag Hammadi scriptures. Yeah, it opened up a whole lot, and it brought me back to aliens.
Yes, thank you, Monica. That was very, very awesome intro. Really quickly, I just want to say hello to Tad from Japan. You can unmute yourself, and if you want
Thank
to,
you,
yeah, go ahead.
Ruby. How are you? This
Hello.
is my humble opinion. I don't think UFOs and UAPs, etc., come from the far reaches of space. I think that those objects that can be seen visually, that is, those that look like plasma, come from another dimension. I think that objects with clear shape are made on Earth. Here is my current opinion. There are many other parallel worlds overlapping in the space we are in now. Therefore, even if they exist simultaneously, they do not collide. Thank you.
Thank you, Tad. But don't leave yet, because you always be leaving Matt quick. Hold on, I got a question for you, Tad. I know he always says something and then he goes, and I'm like, wait. Tad, I wanted to ask you. No, he left. Okay, Tad, let me know in the chat. Does Japan have these UFO kind of stuff the way that they do in America? Because sometimes I feel like they hype it up for us as if it happens in like Central America or like South America and like North America, and like I feel like they kind of hype it up for us, and then around the world is a little bit different. So Tad, if you could let me know. I'm interested in how the Japanese view it. Okay, I'm just catching up on some comments. King of Dots is wanting to know about your background. We just got it on Google literally 2 minutes before we started. We did not put any thought into this. I'm so sorry. Okay, so quick question for King Tony.
Yeah.
Oh, Lily just popped off. Okay, I'll put the link back in the chat just in case. So how do you view the UFO discussion topic subject so far? And that trailer that I have another trailer that I want to show, but before I show the next trailer, how do you feel so far about this like whole topic?
I'm not opposed to the idea that there's possible aliens. I personally have not seen. I remember as a child, one of my favorite movies was My Favorite Martian, which is a pretty funny movie. If you haven't seen it, it's cute. But that's as far as it goes for me. Like, Men in Black, like, so it's always like a sci-fi fictional thing. But I always kept open-minded about the subject because honestly, anything's possible. And I honestly don't think that we're the only like humans in existence. I think that it's possible that there's multiple different planets and in different galaxies and clusters. That's possible they're going through something too, But that's about it.
Right. Okay, I like this comment here. Willie B, thank you for commenting. He says, we grew up being fed by Watchtower. Now we are fed by the mainstream media and what the governments want us to be guided by. Use your critical thinking abilities. That's exactly how I feel. And that's kind of like the approach I'm taking to this, because I was kind of nervous that this topic kind of came up and like last week. And then I said, oh, we're going to have to dive deep into this. And I saw the documentary. I looked into this from different people like on YouTube and things like that. And then I remember just kind of like how he says, how does the mainstream view it? How do different countries view it? How do different people view it? And that's why I love that like so many people are here, because we can get 4 different perspectives right here. You know what I'm saying? And then like the chat can also let us know, well, what do you believe in? How do you feel like it? And if anybody else wants to join, there's an open invitation. Anybody can join and hop on with us. I kind of agree with you, Tony. I kind of just, it's like, it's humor, it's funny, it's exciting to think about, it's thrilling to think like we're probably not the only ones here.
Mm-hmm.
But then my Christian wired brain, because I do feel like I'm still like inquiring into Christianity, it's fighting the thought of other life forms existing just in general, right? Because we believe we were made in the image of God, right? So that makes us different from like animals, different from different species. It's kind of like we have a soul, and when we die, you go somewhere. You're like the afterlife comes up now, right? That's what it kind of brings me to. And if there's a possibility that there is other types of creations, then I'm like, okay, so who created them? Are they made in the image of something? What is their purpose? What are their intentions? It drives me to that kind of arena. But then the JW comes out, or like the Christian comes out and says, those are demons. Stop thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna be totally honest with you guys, but I kind of still feel, and I still hold positions that maybe other Christians or even JWs might still have that opinion, that if it's not on earth, if it wasn't created by God, therefore it's either doesn't mean anything, it shouldn't mean anything to us, or it has nothing to do with us, or like it's a mystery, we'll never know, or it can be demons playing with us, playing psychological games with us. And I've never had like demonic encounters or anything like that, but just the thought of that, it's like, if you're an alien and you're not human, then you're a demon. You're either human, spirit, an animal, a plant, like you're categorized into something. And if you're not any one of these things that is nature that has been created, then you're demonic, or it's a demon. How do you guys feel about that? Anybody can jump in.
It's like I almost wish we could like raise our hands, because it's sort of hard to tell. And I didn't get to say hello, Tony. Nice to see you, darling.
See you. Hi, Crystalline.
Hey.
And it's
Monica.
Lily.
Monica.
Lily. Yeah, you can jump in whenever you want. Go ahead.
So I love what you said, because it's also true. It's like, and being out for as many years as I have, and exploring some while I was in the religion, and now 20 or 30 years later, being officially out, I can honestly say the more you learn, the less you know. It's like, and so much about our world is mixed up with this, the cabal stuff. And I think people know what I mean when I say cabal, and that basically the disinformation channel trying to keep us thinking a certain way. And so if, they knew they needed to cloud our judgments, they knew they needed to enter in doubt and question. And so here's a couple of thoughts that I have heard. It's not necessarily what I believe, but this is just a couple of thoughts. There are those that say all demons are aliens, or ET, or some sort of entity. Okay. another presence, and there are those that say all ET other presences are demons. So there's both ways that it is said, and whenever we study different things, like we look at other history and all, and that's why I pointed out last week about the religious art, because if religious art, and I'm sure it's earlier, Egyptian and all, but I mean the kind of Christian paintings, the ones that are these beautiful paintings in chapels and museums, and that's usually the 13th century. When you start looking at those paintings and somebody points out to you, they were full of spaceships. I'm like, where in the world? I was so shocked when I first saw that. And it's like, and then I started noticing it more. And I watched some documentary or book or something where it pointed all this out. And I realized I had to expand my mind. I had to really kind of start thinking a little further out and say, how did that get there?
Right.
It kind of breaks your paradigm of thinking. And that is one of the things that I think helps us now that we're out, is we can start thinking in ways we could never think before. And that is a blessing to be able to do that.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Lily. Just want to give a quick hello to Culty Talk. Finally got a face reveal for you, because I see you everywhere, but I've never seen you.
Yeah, I've only called in like a couple of times, but this topic just really, I love this topic because I go through the same thing exactly like you said, Ruby. Like, is it demons? Is it, I kind of don't believe that one anymore, but I'm kind of on the thing of it could be a psyop, like, because they've been talking to us about it for so long.
Yes.
And
Yep.
yeah, but the other side is that, they always tell us what they're planning by media. So I don't know. Love the topic though.
What you said about psyops, there's even, more on what you just said. I mean, other than just the regular psyop of not really showing us the evidence that credible people have seen, credible people have experienced. It's like, if I had never seen any information from like sources that they make it very official, then I would have thought, it's all in our heads, or it's, just movies or whatever. But there is endless amounts of documentation of something. And then more started coming out. People started realizing a lot of the stuff being seen is our own people. It's our own reverse engineering from the technology they got years ago from others that were here. And then the question is, were they always here? And are they here and we just don't know it, or we just don't see them?
Right. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna play the next trailer that I have.
Perfect.
Because Steven goes into this. So let's see what he has here.
If the crash retrievals are true, then all bets are off.
It's very hard for people to get their minds around where the real power is. And it's not at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. The reality is something much more stark.
They've been working on this for 60, 70, perhaps 80 years.
The reason why the government is talking about these UFOs now, they're getting ready for the next level of war.
Are these objects a national security concern?
They're proffering a narrative of a national security threat that doesn't exist.
I call them alien reproduction vehicles. They're made by private corporations somewhere on this planet.
Technology from Roswell from 1947 has largely been held back from us.
Portal technology, teleportation, whatever you can imagine, it's already been done.
The biggest secrets are not the 0-point energy and electrogravitics. It's the science of consciousness. All their communication systems are moving through the consciousness field and are thought actuated. The people at the CIA call it WSFM, weird science and frickin' magic. The transdimensional interstellar technology will benefit humanity.
There has been tremendous disinformation.
The media is keeping secrets with the government.
These are lethal, vicious people. And I'm focused on exposing the extraordinary technologies that they want to keep secret. No aspect of life on Earth will be unaffected by it.
Okay, so that's pretty heavy. Let's go around the panel and give an opinion if you have one. We'll take Monica first and we'll go down the line. Go ahead, Monica. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think the aliens have been here for a very, very long time. I think they're here now. I don't think they've ever left. I think that we have them walking amongst us now as sort of like hybrids. When you put the Bible side by side, have you ever heard of the Sumerian text?
No, I haven't.
Have not. Okay. Well, these are stone tablets that they found years ago in some cave someplace, and they're stone tablets, and it's written in Sumerian cuneiform. And it took years for someone to decipher or to translate what these tablets said. But these tablets tell almost identical stories as the Bible does. However, the Sumerian texts predate the Bible by 2,500 years. It speaks about the creation story. It speaks about making people. It speaks about the flood. It speaks about paradise. It speaks about sending people out of paradise. So that got me thinking, wait a minute. What is this about? And it turns out the Sumerian texts were extraterrestrial beings that came to Earth, genetically modified the humanoid beings that were already here, and they put their DNA in the beings that were here on Earth. So it's basically they're telling their own creation story of humanity's creation. But the Bible tells a similar story. It says in the beginning, Elohim created man in his image, in his image, or God created man in his image. But in the Sefer, and I've got all the books too, the Sefer says that Elohim created man in his image. And when you research the word Elohim, Elohim means council of the gods, masculine and feminine. And it said, let us create man in our image. So when you have these different creatures, like these bird people and horse people and different beings, we don't know what these Elohim look like. They weren't God. They were God-like, but they were not gods. And I think what happened, after making a long story short, I think what happened is these beings, and it's in every culture all over the world, etched in stone. Our forefathers were trying to tell us what they saw. And they have etched in stones helicopters, submarines, beings with breathing apparatuses that look like they're in spaceships. What's all that about? They were trying to tell us, they couldn't tell us there was a satellite here and a UFO came and a whatever. They had to say it was a big thing that came, had fire coming out of it. And say, for instance, I did more research about like the simple word ruach. Ruach basically means heavy thing. So when the truth of aliens and ETs is in the Bible too, in the Apocrypha, they've taken out the whole Apocrypha. Say, for instance, what is that? Which book is that, Lily? Is it the book of Jasher? It's one of the books that talks specifically about UFOs. They talk specifically, when you really look at it and read it with critical thinking, you can see that what they're talking about. So it's in the Bible as well. So yes, I definitely believe there are extraterrestrial beings, but these beings that came to Earth, do I think that they were God? No, I don't think they were gods. In a sense, I think that they were beings created by God, which brings me back. Do you think that aliens are demons?
Right.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I used to think that anything outside of whatever God created in Adam and Eve, that's it. Anything else is a demon. No, this universe is vast. Vast.
That is true.
Different dimensions. And then
What is the cipher?
All these mythological creatures, they say, that never existed. We're seeing lots of things, as the ice melts, we're seeing all these different civilizations of things that they said was a myth, but it's not a myth.
Okay, Pamela
Monica,
says Book of Enoch.
Yes, I definitely believe that there are
Enoch,
UFOs,
that's it.
No,
Yes.
I don't think
that was it, Pamela.
demons, no.
I have to look more into this, and now that you talk about it, I do remember some things that I've looked into with the Anunnakis, and I see the chat, so I have looked into that. I don't know if King Tony has looked into this. So King Tony, what are your opinions so far?
I have no idea what the Anunnaki is.
Okay, I'm gonna have to bring you up to speed on another day, but basically, have you seen that movie with Gerard Butler, Gods and Kings? I think that's the title of it. So that movie kind of explains like the Anunnakis, and it was like a lot of Egyptianology and Egyptian gods and things like that they were like 9 feet tall, 10 feet tall, and they were like bigger and stronger than humans and stuff like that. And it's kind of like they lived amongst the gods, and then they had powers and they could transform, and they had different heads and that kind of stuff. I think the movie is with Gerard Butler, because I saw that and it literally changed my worldview a little bit.
Is it called Exodus, Gods and Kings?
No, that's somebody else.
Awesome.
There are a lot of movies and things. Go ahead, Monica.
Yeah, there's a couple of channels. If Billy Carson is amazing. He does a video about who is Jehovah, because in the Sumerian text, there's these two brothers, Lord Enki and Lord Enlil. They're half brothers, and when you trace the lineage down to the Bible, Psalms 83:18, the scripture that we know all so well, the Most High over all the earth is Jehovah. Guess who that goes back down to? The Sumerian line is Lord Enlil, the Most High over all the earth. 2,500 years before the Bible, the same scenario. As Scooby-Doo would say, wait, something's up here.
Okay, really quickly, I'm gonna play the trailer so that you know what I'm talking about. Just real quick. Yeah, it's a super good movie, bro. Like when I saw that, and then exactly what Monica just said, some of those things are true and they just incorporate it into movies and things. But if you do your research, like she said, those tablets, the translation of it, even the guy in the other trailer, the black guy, he was involved in that, and he has his own documentary on Gaia, I think the platform is. And I haven't even touched it because I have to protect my mental health sometimes when it comes to this. And
it's too much overload.
Yeah, because it can disturb a belief that you once had, just like how we woke up from the cult and you feel as if everything you thought you knew was a lie. And so you really have to take it slow when you talk about these kind of things, especially for us, since we're survivors of a very controlling and just like dogmatic view of how the world is and how humans are. It's really good. You should watch it. Just want to give a quick hello to Jimmy.
Good
Hi, Jimmy.
evening.
Thanks for joining
Hi,
us.
Jimmy.
Hi, Jimmy.
I feel a little overwhelmed here. I mean, I'm in this room full of lovely ladies, and I'm the only guy here, so I'm honored this evening. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you
So
for
we
your
were
masculine
going.
energy.
Yes. Thank you. So we were going down the panel, and I think it's Colty's turn to give an opinion about both of those trailers. Then we're gonna go to Lily, and then we'll go to Jimmy, so we can have everybody can have a turn. So go ahead, Colty. How do you feel about what we just saw?
I mean, that movie looks good, but yeah, like I said, I think they are always telling us something, in these movies. They're always giving us the clues. I still have that, feeling about it being a psyop. Interestingly, Alora Mermaid, I wish she was here because she has an interesting theory. She's a Bible believer, and she feels like the I think it's the Watchers or the Nephilim or one of those, some that they created like they messed with the DNA or something. I wish she was here because she could explain it better. But so that's another theory. And I've also heard that the aliens are actually in the earth. Like some people say they live under the earth. Those
Like
are basically my thoughts.
War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise. They came from out of the earth.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So
Like the abyss. Like the
possible,
abyss.
anything's possible, I guess. And
Like the
the only
abyss,
last thought I
Ruby.
had was that I think Billy Carson is a little. I have a concern about him. He was recently debunked by somebody online, and I'm gonna pull up that video and I'll send it to you, Ruby. I mean,
Okay.
I don't know for sure. I don't know, but yeah,
Mhm.
that's it pretty much.
That's why I said before, everybody has so many different theories about this.
Yeah.
And it dives into like the Titans and like Thor and Greek mythology and the Egyptians. And so I'm trying to have an open mind and
Me too.
educate myself through movies and not feel so bad about that, because it's fun to watch a movie, right? Okay, Lily, it's your turn.
So Culty Talk, take everything we hear with a grain of salt. And so that way, you're at least hearing, but always know, like you said, you're not quite sure. And I think that there's a little bit of just controversy with anyone that we may listen to. There's always going to be pieces that we don't agree with them. And I think that's because no one has 100% the complete answer. And we're really missing a lot of the pieces. And so it's like, I feel like I've become this major researcher over the years, trying to take the different pieces and get a whole puzzle at least on the board so I could figure it out. There was a couple of things I took a couple of notes. One, whenever Monica comes back, and she mentioned the cipher, and so and she also mentioned, I think it was Nagamati or something. She knows of these old ancient
Nagamati, I know that too. Yeah.
text. Yeah, and so when she's talking about her research, and I'm going to want her to explain what the cipher book is, because I've heard her refer to that a few times. That way, it's like it's pretty old and ancient as far as being able. Look at her.
That's
And
what I forgot to say, that I love everything that the goddess has said.
Yes, she's research queen. Let me tell you, this girl, she has looked through, I can't tell you how many, I don't want to say hundreds, but I know she has every Bible that there is. She has every Bible, And because when I met Monica 8+ years ago, she was still really struggling with the religion part. And I went on her podcast, and I was like one of the only ones past religion. And so she took my number, we talked, and it's like I've watched her evolution, and she knows like a whole lot more than I do about some of these subjects. So she's definitely a person who's going to not just invent it out of air. She's going to do her best to find the pieces that are there. And so a couple of other things is whenever we think about our JW days, and one of the things that they did leave that I always didn't understand, and this is going back, I'm sure older than some of you, there used to be some books that they had that they did away with. And some of these books had illustrations in there. I remember being myself like 10 and under, and they were pretty out there. And like if I could kind of help you to understand, you know how like in Ezekiel, they talk about the chariots and the wheels and all of that kind of stuff. Well, there used to be more illustrations in some of these old books that I can see Monica. She's like, she's knowing what I'm talking about. And so, and in terms of like Egyptian stuff, that's an old history for us, that we often refer to that. But there's a wonderful show called Ancient Aliens, and I think it started in the early 2000s, maybe mid 2000s, somewhere around there. And so I used to watch that show, and in the very first episode of episode 1, and I would recommend that anybody watch season 1, episode 1. They talk about artifacts that they have found, and they show these artifacts. They're in museums, and some of these artifacts are of flying machines that look like the space shuttle, things like that. And they also, I've seen in various places with the Mayan culture on some of their tablature and their carvings and stuff, there will be a guy sitting in a spaceship, and it's like you can see how it's easy to go to that place that says, well, what are all these things and all these ancient carvings? Where the heck did these things come from? So, and as far as movies is concerned, where you said about movies, not off the top of my head, but I could come up with probably a list of movies that I think that they show us an awful lot in, such as Stargate and Star Wars. But there's one, and this will be kind of like down Jimmy's Avenue a little bit. Mm-hmm. Jupiter Rising, I think is what it was called. Did you see that one?
I haven't seen that yet.
Jupiter's Rising. It's one that touches on the adrenochrome part. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. When Jeff gets home, I'm gonna get him. Hey Jeff, is that Jupiter Rising that touches on the adrenochrome stuff? Jupiter Ascending, he says.
Ooh,
Jupiter Ascending.
Okay, I'm gonna have to.
And that one is packed full of that very nefarious, dark pathway. Like I said, Jimmy knows very well, what they're hiding from us. And Jeff, you want to say hey before you leave?
That's awesome, Lily. Thank you. If you do make that movie list, please send it to me because I love to watch movies. Hello, welcome.
Hey, how are you? Yeah, talking about how is everybody? Talking about movies, that's what and Jimmy knows this, that's what the cabal does. The universal rule is to let them know what they're going to do to us in movies, and that's how they work, which is kind of sad because people think it's just fiction and stuff like that, but you look at all movies and it just tells the truth, right, Jimmy?
Yep, absolutely.
I believe
Reptiles,
that.
reptiles, reptiles.
It's good to see you,
Wow,
Jeff.
thank you guys. Yeah.
Good. How are you? You were a little late getting in?
Yeah, I had some things to take care of this evening before I could jump
That's
on.
okay.
Yeah. So, but it's good.
Very
It's
nice.
actually good to put a face with the names and folks I've been talking to. So nice to meet you guys
Yeah.
face to face.
You too, Jimmy.
And when you speak about Jeff, when you speak about the cabal, I know this is getting a little deep, Ruby here, but these beings, they something with the Galactic Council, they are mandated. They have to tell us the truth. They have to show us the truth.
Yep.
Right.
As well. So when they go up for their punishment or before the courts or whatever, Galactic
Exile.
Federation courts or whatever, they will have to. They have to say, "Well, we told them. We told them in ET. We told them
Exactly.
in Star Wars. We told them everything that they needed to know. They didn't see it. That's not our fault."
Yep.
Yep.
But when humans got hoodwinked by them, they didn't tell us then. You know, they call it the fall in some religions. I call it hoodwinked. Humans, we've been around for a long, long, long time. Our consciousness as well. And I'm sure those two, how many species have inside DNA? I think 22, right?
I don't know what's going
I
on.
don't
You
know if he
kept
can
cutting
hear
out there a
you.
little bit, Jeff.
The audio is.
Yeah, the audio is like
How
all
many?
wonky.
How many? Yeah, humans, we have been around for a long time, and our DNA is the most thought out in the universe because we have supposedly 22 species in our DNA through the stars. You heard that, right?
I hadn't heard that yet.
I don't know.
But continue. Yes.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we have 22 species. We probably have a little bit reptilian. You heard of the reptilian part of the brain, right?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
You haven't heard that?
The medulla
Man,
oblongata.
what's going on with your phone? We have a storm coming. I think that's why.
Maybe you can let me use your phone.
No, I'm gonna. Oh, I gotta go feed the cats. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, what's wrong with your phone? Okay. Yes. You heard about the reptilian part of our brains. You heard of that, right? You're using your
Yes.
reptile part of your brain. Did you ever hear that? Yeah. So, you know, the reptiles when
I
they came
haven't. I'm
here,
gonna be honest. I haven't heard it.
I believe they're in the Anunnaki. Yeah. There's a saying that oh, you're using your reptile part of your brain. It was on Ancient Aliens. I don't know if it's true or not. But we are. I feel we're over 1 billion years old. Our consciousness, humans, and I know it's hard to take. It's hard to swallow. It's hard to swallow that pill. But I'm still researching that. But there's a lot of things that when you hear over the years, you just.
Oh, we just lost them, so I'm gonna put the link again in the chat.
Yeah, I don't know
It's
what's going
probably
on.
yeah, it was super glitchy, so it's probably just internet things. But Jimmy, you can go ahead and give your your viewpoints on this subject. And also, if Becky is still watching or she's in the chat, definitely come back on. I know that people have a lot of opinions, so just for future reference, let's try to keep our comments less than 3 minutes so that everybody has a chance, and we can get everybody everybody heard. Okay, go ahead, Jimmy. How do you feel about UFOs and aliens?
Okay, so when I was Jehovah's Witness, we were told that everything was demonized. The music, the movies, everything was demonized. If you had a friend and they were always getting in trouble and they weren't a Jehovah's Witness, you shouldn't be messing with them kids because the demons are with their family. That's the crap I heard, okay? So I can understand that's a programming thing. So I can understand after leaving Watchtower why this subject comes up. Folks would say, oh, that's just demons. Now, I'm not saying that all of them are demons, just there's a certain sect of those. Anyway, that's another topic. We'll get back to that. So anyway, so in Watchtower, that's what we're programmed to think. Would you agree with that? Or anybody have a different experience with that?
Yes, I still hold that opinion, Jimmy. So, I do believe that they are demons and demonic influences that bother us and try to trick us.
Okay. All right. So, and that's true in a sense. Okay, now I'm getting feedback. I can hear myself
Okay,
talking.
that's from Becky. Becky, if you could just mute yourself, and we're gonna give Jimmy 2 more minutes, and then we're gonna move on to you. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Okay, I'll try to do this in 2 minutes. Okay, so one of the other things that I found interesting is my mom, who is a full ExJW. She would be on the governing body if they let sisters on the governing body. So anyway, I asked her one day, I said, Mom, do you believe in aliens? To my surprise, the woman said yes. And I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, I believe in aliens. You're a full in Jehovah's Witness. You're not supposed to think that way. So that was the only thing that I really was shocked at my mom saying. So I put that in the back of my head. Then when I wake up out of Watchtower and realize that I've been lied to for 40 years, they lied about everything. Then when I woke up from the political side of things, I realized we've been lied to about everything. That's when I connected the two organizations together. So knowing that we've been lied to about everything, why wouldn't this subject be any different? So they've lied about everything, but they're going to tell the truth about aliens.
Right.
All right. So that got me thinking outside the box to start looking into these things and seeing what I find. And I know my minute's probably up, so I agree with Monica about the Anunnaki stuff. I've looked into that. The Book of Enoch is very interesting to read. There's a reason why that's been left out of the Bible. Oh, that was the other thing I had to come to terms with too, is when it comes to religion, what I found and what I believe at this moment in my life, that I have no use for any man-made religion. Because I think they were all created to exert control and divide us all. So when I put that piece over here and said, okay, they lied about everything. Religions are, I can't believe what they've told me. That allowed me to go into the research and find these things out. And so when I look at the movies, knowing that they have to tell you what they're going to do, that starts making you think too. So without going into whether they exist or not, I had to build a framework to allow myself to be like, all right, I need to move forward on this because everything else has been bullcrap. Let me research this. Let me find out. And it's been a very interesting ride.
Right. Thank you, Jimmy. We're gonna move on to Becky. You can unmute yourself and just give us your thoughts. You got 3 minutes.
Hi, Jimmy. I agree with you. It is extremely brain stretching, but I've always felt and I've kind of known that the Heavenly Father, our Lord Jesus Christ, all of the heavenly creatures are all extraterrestrials because they're not from the earth. And the people that wrote things like about the chariot and everything, they were just describing it the best they could at that time.
Yeah.
And that's why I commented in the chats about the flying DeLorean. I'm sorry, but if somebody says a flying chariot that's flaming, that's the only words they had to describe it at that time. But I know that all of the spirit creatures, even stuff that all of us have had experience or some of us haven't, it's not of the earth. So God Jesus, the Holy Spirit, all of the heavenly creatures, all of the angels, they're extraterrestrials. They're not of the earth. They're not of terra firma. That's Latin. You should know that, Ruby. You know the Latin. Terra firma. How do you say it in Puerto Rican?
Actually, I'm a New Yorican, so I don't know Spanish. We are different kind of Puerto Ricans.
Okay, how do you say it in Brooklyn?
Ask King Tony because I'm from Manhattan and the Bronx. She's from
Okay,
Brooklyn.
how do you say it in the Bronx and Manhattan? Holy crap. Holy crap. How do you say it? How do you say it in Texas? You say holy crap. Yeah. Okay, my 3 minutes is done. I love y'all.
Okay, thank you, Becky. King Tony, you got 3 minutes. If you would like to share any thoughts.
I see it as like, you know, being that I just came out of a cult and like living a life that was so controlled, it's hard for me to just jump straight into another religion. I have come to terms with the fact that I don't need religion to be able to have any type of relationship with God. But I have built that relationship with God to be able to feel that way. I don't judge others that need that or still, you know, have a search. In regards to ET, I don't know if it made me spiritually weak, but like as a witness, I've always, I mean, you know, Ruby, you know my dad, you know our family, like I've always had, like, I don't think your mom would agree, but like my dad allowed that conversation and he allowed us to have that type of imagination being a witness. So we would have conversations all the time like that. Like imagine there's other planets and other human races, or even just like, we don't know what they are, but they're there and we don't know about it. It's possible. Like, I really don't believe we're the only one and only living thing, you know?
Right.
So I try to stay open-minded.
Tony, you're right. They're there. You're right. Yeah, they are there.
Stay open-minded. If I see one day, I'm gonna be like, hey, I'm from Brooklyn.
Oh hell no, I ain't talking to them. I don't even talk to humans. Why would I talk to aliens? You crazy?
No, you gotta. But in their eyes, we're aliens too. So it's the same on both sides. They don't know. At the end of the day, like it's new to us all.
Right.
We don't know their history. Right. We don't know what they went through, what they've gone through. I don't know. I'm just curious.
You know, I was thinking I should call my mom and ask her right now if she believes in aliens. Do you think she'll say yes or no?
No.
Oh my God, Ruby!
What if I call my mom?
It'll be like blasphemy.
Oh my God!
She don't talk to me, but if I call, she'll probably pick up.
She's one of the people.
Ruby, like, don't do it.
Do it live. Do it live.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, heaven help us.
Honestly.
Oh my God.
This
I
help your mother.
I did apologize to her, and I said I'm sorry for saying a bad word the last time we spoke. So.
Oh my gosh.
Let me just see if she picks up real
quick. How about I don't want to talk to you? Isn't that a bad word?
Hang on.
Hey, Mom. How you doing? Yes. I just wanted to ask you a question, and it might sound weird, but just give me your honest opinion, okay?
You sound wired up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, but you sound wired up.
Oh, no, I have you on speaker, but I wanted to ask you a question really quick. Are you ready for the question?
I guess.
Do you believe in aliens, or maybe like other planets have like life forms, or like if we're not the only ones that exist in the universe?
No.
So you just believe that like we just exist and nothing else exists?
So that's it.
Really?
I'm not talk about that with you.
Okay. No, I just wanted to ask you. That's all. Just wanted to ask you because I've been thinking about it and I just wasn't sure and stuff like that.
You sound wired up. Okay, you sound wired up.
No, I have you on speaker.
It's a tone. It's like an attitude in the tone.
An attitude? No, I'm just asking you a question.
You sound like you're wired up.
I'm not wired up. I'm not the FBI. I'm just asking you a question. If you believe in aliens or not. Defensive. I literally just asked you one question. It was like a yes or no question because I've been thinking about it.
That's not in the Bible. We don't believe in that.
No, I know that. I know that. But I was asking you personally to see if you believed if they existed or not.
I believe what the Bible teaches, and that's it.
Okay. All right. Just wondering. All right. I'll let you go now. Damn, didn't even say bye. Like,
oh my gosh, Tony. Oh my gosh. Tony's face. Oh my gosh. No, wait a minute. Ruby. Wait a minute, Tony. Tony's jaw was on the bottom of the screen the whole time. She was like, oh my God, she really did it. I'm like, I'd be so proud of you as a sister or cousin girlfriend.
Girl, I was shocked she picked up. I was like,
no, that's how she is. She's like, if it's not an emergency, she'll hang up. She didn't even say bye. She just hung up.
Wow.
That's terrible.
Yep.
But she did sound like my mother too. I believe this is the pat answer. I believe what the Bible teaches.
And we have to listen to Jehovah.
Right. And
exactly.
she's like, you know what we believe.
What the governing body. Let me tell you something, Ruby. I've got to tell you something. I've got a friend. Well, she was my friend when I was a very young girl. And another friend that was in my wedding called me and said, hey, this other girl, my old friend, just got reinstated. And I'm like, oh God, heaven help me. And anyway, like, I don't know, 3 weeks later, me and another friend of ours got love bombed and sent this text about Matthew 24:14 or something like that. And she goes, you need to make a choice. If you don't make a choice right now, you're going to die in the tribulation. And I said, I have made a choice. I worship the Heavenly Father, serve our Lord and King Christ Jesus, and I recognize the Holy Spirit in my life. And she goes, well, you didn't say Jehovah, so I won't talk to you anymore. And you know what? The only one that I did not mention was the governing body. That was her Jehovah. You hear me, Ruby? And this was like 6 months ago. And my other friend said she did the same thing to her. At the same time, they're texting all of their old friends all at the same time, love bombing them with the same Matthew 24:14.
May I make a point?
I gotta let you know.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
One thing that I noticed on here when you're talking to your mom, it sounded just like my mom. And I can guarantee you that probably everybody on this panel or everybody in the chat or whoever's watching this video will say, yeah, that sounded like my mom too.
Right.
I think we could probably agree that there would be a lot of people that would say that, right? So why is that? What is that? That is the breathing example of how Watchtower has used mass formation, MK Ultra techniques, or whatever to brainwash everybody.
Yes, Jimmy. Yes, Jimmy. Yes, they are on the same mental balance and control. They have balanced their brain to not even look or accept any single thing that goes against what they have been taught. They are shut down, and that is all. That's it.
Exactly. And so now look at it on a bigger level. When you look at the politics and the history and religions, knowing that Watchtower is part of that, that will tell you right there they're doing it to everybody.
Yes.
King Tony, would you like to say something? I saw you unmuted your mic, but what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, oh, like, and like, if you, I don't know, from what the last thing I remember, they're literally preparing for tribulation. The last thing I can remember from like our meetings, they literally have hypothetical scenarios and like videos preparing you for when this happens, and you have to have your meetings or your Bible studies in the basement of a home, or like in some cramped up space where you like you have to
Tony, yeah, Tony, this tribulation that they have going on the first part of Revelation, honey, I need to reassure you, that's about the destruction of Jerusalem. That's why it says right after that, he with a mind's eye will know this has been done. This is what's next. This is what's way in the future. And if somebody just uses their mind's eye and not read it, because Ruby, I know you're a speed reader, so am I. The thing that helped me the most was listening to the gospel in audio, where I could not rush ahead in my eyes and say, I know this, I know this, I know this, and just keep going. But when I heard it read to me, I was like, oh my gosh.
Right.
What?
Just before we go to Gigi, I just want to say really quickly, like, I haven't spoken to my mom in a really long time, and that was an impulsive thing that I just did, and I'm getting a little anxiety. But it's a great. I'm glad that it happened though, because
Don't do it. Don't get anxiety. You did the right thing in the moment.
No. I know.
You did it.
I'm having fun with all of you guys. I'm here live with you. I just want to point out that this is how these conversations go. It's always somebody else is tapped in, or you're wired up, or you sound defensive or have an attitude.
It's triggering.
And you can, it's triggering, because you can never just have a regular conversation with somebody so fanatical in any type of belief. And it kind of makes you feel like you're the wrong one for even bringing that up. Like, you know how we feel about that. And it's never a personal thing. Like, I know that. I've been raised in it, but I'm asking you.
Yeah, you're put in a group. You are put in a group automatically, Ruby, in their minds. You're put in a group.
And you're spiritually weak, and you shouldn't even be asking me that. You should already know. Always making you feel lower than, and like you don't.
Right.
It's like she's just trying to have a simple conversation with her mother. And
you can't even do that.
Simple question. It's sad.
You can't even speculate. You can't even say, "Oh, what if this? What if?" You can't even entertain the thought.
Hey, Ruby.
I have a lot of empathy.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry, Jimmy.
I want to just say this real quick. That is the exact same relationship I had with my mother. I never had a just mom.
Right.
It was always Watchtower stuff. It was always Jehovah. It was everything. Now, I know we kind of got on to the subject versus the aliens. But I just wanted to say this. There's going to come a time in your life. You don't know when it's going to be. But when this continues on, you're going to get to a point where you're like, remember that meme I just put up on Twitter the other night? Sometimes you have to tell people to F off. And I'm not saying that that's where most people are going to go, but that's where I'm at. Because my mom chose to stay brainwashed in Watchtower and not have unconditional love for her son. So once I got my power and built my boundaries, that type of attitude is not welcomed in my life. I don't know when
I agree with you, Jimmy. I agree with you.
I don't know when you'll get there, Ruby. It's going to be a process.
It takes time.
But Tony, behind you, Tony, you have space. You respect your space, woman. You respect your space. Don't let anybody in your space, Tony. Ruby, don't let anybody in your space.
Yeah, I know.
It's yours. Own
I
it.
have already accepted that. Like I don't care
Yes.
about it anymore. It's just the way they make you feel
Awesome.
sometimes. It's
I
it's
got
not
you.
it's not fair. But
No,
I
it's
don't
not
I
fair.
don't
It's
I
not
don't
fair,
care
Ruby.
about it. I don't care about it anymore. I don't say like I have a mom anymore. I don't care. But it's like I'm glad that somebody else saw it and heard it because nobody sees that. You know what I'm saying?
We
We
all
love you, honey. We love you. We see it.
Yeah.
We see it. Our
Yeah,
minds
I
and
wish I could
hearts
just
and
give
everything
you a
see
hug
it.
right now.
It's
I wish I could
also, I
hug you
think,
right
the
now
fact
because
that you take the initiative to give them that second chance. Like, you know what? Maybe after all this time, they might have changed. And then you realize, bam. And that's what hurts because it's like, ooh, I gave it to them. I gave them that little piece of power again.
Yeah, but
Hold on,
don't guys,
hold
don't
on.
wait for them to change. Don't wait for them to change. Live your life and progress and
Yeah.
just be surrounded in love. And oh my gosh. I mean, look at how much love y'all have received just even coming out here, Ruby, for like the last 6 months. I've been watching you, and you know that.
Hey, can I call her?
And y'all
Can
have
I call?
so much love. Sometimes love isn't measured by how much you love others, but how much others love you.
Can I? Can I call her
Wait,
Aunt Becky?
hold on, Jimmy. Hold on, Jimmy.
Yes, of
Colty wanted to say
course.
something. Go ahead, Colty.
I just want to jump through the screen and give you a huge hug because you really touched my heart. And I know what you've been through. And I cannot even imagine because I don't have that kind of a situation myself. I am lucky that way. Although my family is brainwashed, my mother is brainwashed. She doesn't do that to me. And that breaks my heart for you. I love you, Ruby, and I admire you. You are such a strong person. And you shouldn't have to deal with that. You shouldn't have to
Ditto.
go through with that.
Thank you,
Ditto.
Colty. Okay, Jimmy, go ahead, and then we'll go on to Gigi. Go ahead,
All right.
Jimmy.
So first thing I just want to say, Colty, I've always seen you in the chat, but it's been awesome to listen to you talk. You have a good aura coming off of you, and it's a good vibe. So
Yes, ma'am.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to say that. Second thing is I'm going to call Becky Aunt Becky from now on because I don't know why, but she sounds like she'd be a great aunt. So she's
Aw.
Aunt Becky to me now. Okay.
Yeah, there's 21 grandkids, so I'm
Okay.
Aunt Becky, great Aunt Becky, and I'm a great Aunt Becky now.
Wow.
How about that?
Well, let me throw you for a loop. I'm a great grandfather.
Wow.
Okay, dude, you got me. You got me, man. Jimmy, I'm gonna call you Jimmy. GGJ.
All right. And so I appreciate that, Beck. Now, as far as Ruby, you're going to feel it's going to be a process. And when you're feeling your feelings, feel them. Don't feel guilty about feelings. Let them take place. Address it, stay in the present, and deal with the feeling. Because once you deal with it, it does make you stronger for the next time.
Yes.
It will
Okay,
happen.
Gigi. Thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate it. I love all of you guys. I love you guys in the comments. Thank you so much. Gigi, you can finally hello, Gigi. Let us know how you feel.
No, no. My feelings aren't important. Hey, Ruby, so you wanted to know if UFOs are real. That's what the title is. Or do you think aliens are real, right? Or, and I think everybody established, with the biblical account. But it's very simple. It's very simple. Because, on the very top, they keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple, stupid. The Bible's very clear on this. And even with the top scientists like Carl Sagan, they even agree on these very simple subjects. Well, I'll give an example. In the Bible, in Job 2, it's very clear when God is having a conversation with all of the angels that there's some people listening. And who is it? Hey, I'm talking. Satan is talking in front of all of the in front of all of the angels. And in that conversation, God sets the ground rules. So whoever's making that noise in the background, you got to be careful, mute yourself. But here's the point. So God allowed Satan to come to earth, but with ground rules. And then you read the Bible with Moses and also the Judges, where they say you're not supposed to be talking to the dead, like King Saul. Now, the reason why there's rules is because there's rules for people on Earth too. So when people on the third dimension on planet Earth, we invite people from the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth dimension. That's why we have rules. God has given the nation of Israel rules and says, you do not do these things because you do not invite these people into your home. The same thing is vice versa. Satan was not allowed to planet Earth. He was given permission because there's rules of engagement. So yes, there are interactions between aliens and earthly beings, but it's because there's rules. God has allowed rules, and we're not supposed to be together. We're supposed to be separate. But the Bible's very clear on this. And let me just explain to you how the scientists like Carl Sagan explained this. In order for us to travel through the United States, through the world, our Earth, we have a third dimensional body. We can go, but in order for us to go from Earth to Saturn, it's very hard. Our third dimensional body of blood and sweat and tears, right? Our body cannot do it. It'll die. So in order for you to leave Earth and go to the next star, Alpha Centauri, you need a different body. It's called the fourth dimension. But if you're going to travel within the arm of the Milky Way, you need a fifth dimension body. And if you're going to travel from one end of the Milky Way to the other end, a sixth dimension. And if you go from Milky Way to Andromeda again and again and again. So what happens is we have these different dimensions of life. And it makes sense. When you look at the heavens, like the background behind Ruby Quinn, you see those stars. There's different dimensions. And those dimensions have bodies. But
Gigi, what if you're dreaming this, but it's not a dream, and you have all of this come to you?
No, but hold on, just don't interrupt me. What I'm saying is this, is that there's rules of engagement for UFOs or aliens talking to humans. And if we allow them into our beings, they will come. But we can also tell them to leave, and they are under rules, just like we're under rules. You know how if you were to call the police, if I were to call the police on you and I say, get this woman out of my house, they will come and you would leave the house. The human being has that ability too. So that's why I'm saying there are extraterrestrials, there are all of these different dimensions, but there are also rules of engagement. And never forget that. And the Bible is filled with rules of engagement. Does that make any sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you, Gigi. Let's welcome back Lily. Welcome back. I think we had like internet glitches. If Monica wants to come back, I put the link once again in the chat because it was like really glitching. We were hearing like clicking sounds. So I'm glad you're back. Would you like to share anything with us?
Before I connected back to StreamYard, I looked at the comments. And so is it okay if I just make some quick comments on the comments in the section that
Okay.
One, I saw that San Diego Pimo, I'm sure he was making a joke, but he said, I hope they're not hostile like in that movie, whatever that was, War of the Worlds. And bouncing off of what the fella just said, Gigi, you're right. There are rules that of the universe. And that is one reason why at this time we're not having necessarily good ET interactions, because you know how they're allowing things to unfold or take place. But what some people are saying, I don't have any facts on this, just that there's a lot of people saying that we're getting close to them coming. We're getting, like, they're saying like 27, 28, 29, somewhere around there, that there will be more interactions from, if you want to say, good ETs versus bad ETs. And the other thing he's accurate about, at least I feel, this is just my opinion, is that if you don't want to engage, you don't necessarily have to engage. You have the right to say no. You have the right. And whenever people, I think, interact with spirits or different things or ghosts or whatever, I think it's because they have, they're like an open channel. They're not necessarily choosing or trying to stop that interaction. I think that it is true that we can invite some things in that maybe we don't want to. So we do have to be self-responsible in that. And another comment was from John Carnio or something like that. Y'all probably know him. He put in a comment, he said, Eric von Daniken's Chariots of the Gods. Did anybody see that? That is a 1970s movie, and it was a book. When I was a little girl, I don't know how old I was, but maybe if I was a teenager, I'm not sure. Whatever year the book came out. My dad was reading that book. I went in the bedroom and he was reading that book. And I was asking him, what is that? And I had no idea. My mom walked in and flipped out. She was like, she flipped out. And I heard her when I left the bedroom telling him, don't you ever let the children see you reading that. So, you know, the dissonance in the mind of not allowing people to explore, their kids to explore, or ask questions. And what you experienced, Ruby, I know how that feels. I know whenever a parent won't talk to you. It was 5 years before my mom would even allow one phone conversation. And here's the good news. I don't know how old your mom is, but the older witnesses get, when they start hitting their late 60s and early 70s and 80s, something happens to these old witnesses who were told they will never grow old and die. They all of a sudden realize my life is probably going to end and I don't have any relationship with my kid, which would be you.
Right, right.
And whenever I got to a point of being, because my mom at some point, she was in her 70s, and we started to be able to have small conversations about like what she did as a girl, what her history was. Like old people kind of remember things. And so I was able to have those conversations, and I would sometimes be like crying when I get off the phone that I actually had a little bit of a conversation. So don't think that it won't ever happen, because you can't get much stricter than my mom, who's in her 90s.
Yeah.
And I tell her, Mom, I believe in, you know, and I'll tell her what I believe, and she'll tell me, and you know, and I'll say, I've gotten to the point where I'm not triggered. So she can tell me what she wants to say. And then I'll turn around, I'll say, Mom, I love you. I know that's how you feel. That's how you believe. And then I'll remind her of what a thought that I have. But it's like, this is a big experience that you just experienced. And yeah, you blew everybody's mind when you're a brave girl when you did that.
Yeah, cause I don't care anymore. So I kind of just do it for the heck of it, you know. But it is hurtful, and I let myself go through that emotion, let it get it out. And it's also that
That's
time
the
of the
best
month.
thing. That's the best thing, guys. Y'all say what you need to say, and throw it over your shoulder. Say, I'm done with that point. I've already said what I need to say. And then you go to the next point you need. And then you know what? You did what you needed to do. And that's it. That's all you can do.
Got a fast
I
answer.
mean, Jesus knows whose heart is predisposed to him all over the planet. What if we try to pull out somebody who has a bad heart? Are we working for him or not? We don't know. He knows. That's all I have to say about that, Ruby.
Thank you, Becky. King Tony, you were gonna say something. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I said we got a fast answer.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to do this next trailer is about the Close Encounters with the same guy, Dr. Steven, and that's what Lily was bringing up, and Gigi, the rules of engagement and certain. And I talked to you about this, Tony, privately about this whole and that's why I said last time, no offense, but I kind of felt like he was a grifter, because even though he brings all of this good information and he's trying to expose it and try to give a good narrative, because the government always wants to make it seem like we need war, we need a space force, we need galactic weapons. And I get it. But then he has this service where you can have close encounters, and it's called CE5, and there's different levels of communication and things like that. So that's just my opinion, but I do want to show the trailer just so that everybody knows what I'm talking about.
There's clear sky and an object materializes. They're here. They have been waiting for an appropriate response for decades, and they have not received one until now. We're doing the protocol. It lifts straight up right here, goes up, turns left, partially going in and out of space-time and vanishes. All of their technologies are wired into consciousness and thought. Consciousness is a cosmic internet. That's what we're doing. First, the expansion of consciousness in meditation. You can then see them, and then you can communicate with them. I had one fully materialized flesh and blood who have appeared and then vanished. And I see this being come in. You see that the empowerment of everyone in the audience to become an ambassador to those civilizations. Welcome to my world. So here's how society has answered the call so far.
We're going to have the Space Force. They're like goddamn right, Space Force.
If millions of people start doing this, an army of consciousness doing this, it'll overwhelm the covert systems. This is how disclosure will happen. It's time for the people to find the solution. And here it is, mass contact through consciousness. Citizens Diplomacy, CE5. This is the ultimate disclosure event. Be part of history, be part of the change. It's a call to action.
Okay, so that's what I was referring to, and I'm gonna let everybody go through the panel. If you can keep your comments to 3 minutes or less, we can get everybody. We can let everybody be heard. Colty, you're up first. 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Oh, that gives me anxiety. I don't know if I have anything more to say about. I mean, I told my mom, because I was talking to her once in a while. It always ends up in a fight, by the way. But and I hate that. I hate it. But I was telling her that the government is planning on this. That I think it's possible that they're planning on this possible alien thing,
Invasion.
or a Jesus in the sky. And I said, if I see that, if I see a Jesus in the sky or an alien, I'm running the other way. I don't know how to feel about it. It gives me anxiety. I'll be really quick.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, that I agree with you. Okay, Jimmy, you're up next.
Okay, so I'm trying to think who it was that said it was one of the astronauts who said it, that their last card that they would play would be the alien invasion. Does anybody remember who said that? Lily? That they said that
the lady, yes. Let's see. The lady who, oh shoot.
Sorry.
I can see her hair. I know what she looks like.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll just continue on. But go ahead. Go ahead, Lily.
She was a person who was given a lot of information. 70 years. She's old now, very old. And she was given information from somebody within the government in the know and told that that there's going to be an alien invasion the government will eventually pull out as a last card. And I apologize for not knowing her name.
Yeah. Okay. So I appreciate that. So we know that that is the last card that they're going to play. And then if you look up Project Bluebeam, that's going to explain cult to culty. If you see a Jesus in the sky, that's probably what it's going to be. Because what they have to do is they have to basically scare the people into submission. And they're going to use these things to try to fool the people. They have tried so many different things and it hasn't worked. So I do believe that this is going to be one of the last things that they do. And like everything else that they've done, it's going to turn around and bite them in the butt. Because I do believe that is when I think disclosure would probably happen then. I don't know what level of disclosure there will be. I don't know. Maybe it's just the declassifying of government documents that explains everything. Or I'm so open-minded, I'd let an alien ship land right there in my yard and come out and I'd be like, hey guys, what's up? You know, I seriously. And when it talks about consciousness, that's where we as humans need to be in tune with that. We need to learn how to, you know, advance our consciousness, think about different things, meditate, use mindfulness, get in touch with your consciousness, because that video said that consciousness is the cosmic internet. That's pretty cool. And so I know a lot of, and you know, they always put on the movies that the aliens are always, you know, evil and out to get you and everything. But like someone else just said, you know, there's the good and the bad. And I really think, because I know that there's the good and the bad, I don't live in fear. So when this stuff happens, it's not going to freak me out. And I'm ready for it. Bring it on.
Yeah.
Okay, Lily, you're up next. You got 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, so Bluebeam, do people know what Bluebeam is?
I don't. Colty
Okay.
says yes, but I don't.
Energy weapons, lasers that they can fire from the sky. They can fire them from remote areas. They can put them on vehicles. Their technology by companies like Lockheed and Raytheon. They don't even hide it. It's on Wikipedia.
Yep.
It's like, you know, they create these forest fires and burn out the neighborhoods they want, you know, so they can create a really powerful invasion type war. And they have plenty of spaceships they themselves have to be able to carry this off. And for people to kind of understand about, Jimmy touched on seeing things, on the internet is channels like, I think it's called It's Impossible. It's this guy named James, Jam with a Z. He has all these videos that people, like regular people, just post, and he compiles them and he shows them. The endless amounts of floating cities, they're called holograms, the endless amounts of floating Jesuses. They've been trying to prepare people to be experiencing these like out there things, and they want to lump it into extraterrestrial, so to speak, but it's because they have so much technology to make us think we're seeing something when we're not. So that's what I wanted to say.
Okay, good point. Good point. I kind of feel like that with the 9/11 conspiracy. We saw something, but maybe
Right.
we really didn't see what we thought we saw. And I'm gonna do a separate episode for the 11th this month. So if anybody wants to come back for September 11th, I'm definitely gonna dive into that. Gigi, it's you're up and you have 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Hey, Ruby, now you know why I'm the Jehovah's Witness elder you wish you had when you were going to the Kingdom Hall.
Oh
because
my God.
you see, and this is the reason why, is because when you talk about fear and you look at the aliens, they are a superior life form. They're in the fourth, fifth dimension, and they're not governed by laws that we are. But just like as human beings, we can crush and kill animals in the first dimension. You know, we can kill little worms, fish, and all kinds of animals. We kill them and we eat them. Some aliens would like to barbecue us too if they could. But the Bible's very clear when James says in 2:19, and I knew this in 7th grade, he says, "You believe there is one God, good. Even the demons believe that, and they shudder." The demons are more afraid of us than we should ever be afraid of them. Because Ruby, I'm in my house, and I'm not afraid. And if somebody were to come into my house, well, then naturally they're going to be afraid because, well, we got the Second Amendment, and you're going to put up a fight. So when the demons enter into the third dimension realm in your life, you have the advantage. See, God loved the world so much that he gave his only begotten son. No, this is our home, bitch. This is what you tell the demons. This is our home. You get the hell out of my house. And they're afraid because you know how we call 911 and it takes 30 minutes for a police officer to come over? When you call and say, God, this is the third dimension. This is my house. This is planet Earth. I want nothing to do with these people. They're under the rules of engagement. But when you enter into their rules, when you decide to play around and go into the fourth dimension and the fifth, you're at a disadvantage. You're like a fish fighting a human. You're like an animal fighting a human. Could you win? Possibly, but the odds are against you. So when it comes to UFOs and demons, I'm not afraid because they're afraid of me. Right. And that's the takeaway. They're afraid of me. Satan was afraid of the apostles. See, he talks a good game, but he's afraid. He didn't go attack Job. He needed permission to attack Job. See, that's the whole thing. So all I'm saying, what you learn from me as a Jehovah's Witness elder you wish you had, is walk tall, carry a big stick. Don't be afraid. And if you ever encounter a demon, say, "This is my home, bitch. Get the hell out."
Yeah, or you could say a prayer. Thank you, Gigi. We're gonna move on to Becky. Becky, if you would like to give your thoughts, you have 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Yes, I would. I'd like to give some encouragement to those who doubt and those who are, I'll believe it when I see it. Because even Thomas doubted, and Jesus had the mercy and the grace to even show himself to him, even offer for him to touch him. But Thomas didn't even need to touch him. He believed. There are going to be people that are going to, I'll believe it when I see it. If they don't think that Jesus would have the same mercy on us than he would on one of his apostles that became one of his apostles, even after, having to see it to believe it, I want to just give some encouragement to others because he's merciful and graceful. And if he gave one of his apostles the chance to believe it when they saw it, why not any of us? That's all I have to say about that, Ruby.
Wow, thank you, Becky. Totally agree with you. We have a new person on the panel. Sorry. Let's give a quick hello to JP Shack. Hi, JP.
Hi, Ruby. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Shaq. I just read your comment. Yeah, Space Force. This shit's getting serious.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. Go ahead, JP. You have 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Oh, well, the only thing I wanted to say is that I've seen some stuff that are probably either UFOs or UAPs, but I probably can say that it came from some government stuff because where I live in California, I live about 35 miles away from Edwards Air Force Base, less than 5 miles from Edwards Air Force Base, Plant 42. We got Lockheed Martin, Skunk Works, so all these people that do stuff. And Edwards Air Force Base actually was one of the main places where they did all the test flight stuff and all the new innovations. For instance, that's where the sound barrier was broken and other stuff like that.
Yep.
So I live on top of a hill and we're out here in the high desert, and over the years, I go for a hike behind my hill, and it's usually in the evening or the nighttime, but I have seen several strange things that I could say were a UFO or something, because I quite frankly couldn't identify them. And one thing I did see one night, it was in the evening, it was like a orb, like a ball that was like a fluorescent light that was floating, and I could hear it flying around over me and stuff. And about a football field away, there was a pack of coyotes. And when it flew over them, I could actually hear the coyotes howling and raising up a big old creepy stir. But this was right before 2020, I think, in like 2019. It might have been in early 2020 but I actually got a clip of it on my one of my older cell phones, and I seen several things. And then a short time later, like a few weeks later, there was another orb I seen that was flying over my house. And then there was this strange noise coming out of the sky. It was like it was coming out of the sky. I couldn't identify what it was, but it was almost like where you hear like a feedback from a microphone, like a noise. And it was such a high pitch. It was like to where you wouldn't cover your ears, but to where it almost like makes your mouth, or you kind of cringe.
Did you feel heavy?
No, I didn't feel anything, but I can only say that I would think that that's probably something coming from this Air Force base and other stuff that they're testing out.
Gotcha.
I don't think that it's probably actual really extraterrestrials, even though I do believe in them to, in certain respects. Like I kind of go along with Gigi's idea that they're all different rules that they do have to play and stuff in order to that they're just subject to, and certain things that they're limited to that they can do to us with our interactions and stuff. But there are things out there that they do test. I was going to Las Vegas one time, and there's a lot of secret government property out here. And one of my friends, he took this shortcut. It's kind of like when you're out going towards Barstow, and he knows this shortcut, but you're on this government road. It's not a base or anything, but it pretty much says it's government property and you can't trespass it. But the road is about 11 miles long. And when you go down it at nighttime, see, normally if you're driving during the day, you wouldn't be able to see it, because we live out here in the high desert. So there are some mountains out here and hills. It's not completely flat. So when you would normally see some of these mountains and stuff during the daytime, it would just look like a normal mountain. But once you get on this road, it travels around 11 miles. And once we were driving for a few minutes, all of a sudden there was this drone following our car, and it followed us the whole 11 miles till we left. But we drove by this one section of this mountain, and it's pretty much, it looks like a high-rise building or something, like not quite as many lights, but there's different, you could see rooms and lights and stuff. So this mountain was a real mountain, but there's actually like a facility inside there.
Okay, JP, sorry to interrupt. Anybody would like to comment? I think Lily wanted to make a comment to you. Go ahead, Lily.
So what he's talking about is very accurate. And in those documents that Stephen Greer recently, within the last 3 months, created this website that people can go and sign up for free. Remember, Jimmy mentioned last week it was not behind a paywall. There are situations like what he's talking about listed there. And one of the, where I'm at right now is also very near one of those sites. It's called Dugway. And Dugway, they used to refer to it like as the Area 53, Area 52, or, Roswell. Well, so there's a lot of activity out here as well. And for years, people have talked about, they go and they set up with telescopes, and sometimes the government comes along and stops them, or they're just out there and you can see craft coming and going, disappearing in the ground, disappearing places right off of the base. So those are some of the things whenever Stephen Greer and other people who are involved with that, whistleblowers, these people who are on the bases, They know what's going on. And sometimes they know when something is being done against private citizens that shouldn't be. So he's right on about that.
Okay, thank you, Lily. Jimmy, would you like to add anything? Because I see your mic is off and I have to take a bathroom break. I drank a lot of water. So you are a trusted co-host. So don't say anything too interesting because I need to go to the restroom. But
Okay,
take
go.
over, Jimmy.
All right, go to the restroom. I think the one thing that I want to add to this is the fact that the government has used a lot of different things to fool the people. We can look at what happened in 2020. We can look at what happened in 2001 and 9/11. We can look down through history of all the different things that the government has used to scare the people, fool the people, and control them.
And Jimmy, aren't we glad? Aren't we glad that we're in that generation where those curtains are being pulled?
Oh, absolutely.
back?
Absolutely. And see, and that's the thing what people need to realize, we have talked about the last card being an alien invasion or a Project Blue Beam situation.
We don't know. We don't know.
So, but the thing is going back what JP said and what Lily said, yes, our government has what looks like UFOs. And they have that stuff. They have the technology to shoot laser beams with the direct energy weapons.
Doesn't anybody ever even think about what they can create on the outside and fly across the sky and make people afraid? Jimmy, come on, man.
Do what?
For real.
Do what?
For real.
Yeah. So what folks need to also understand is I found something. I don't think I talked about this last week. Maybe I just learned it last week, but it was the Invention Secrecy Act. Did I talk about that on here last week?
I don't think it's been talked about, but I sent it to you because I think it's really important that we eventually cover that.
So I can do a really quick cliff note version on that. The Invention Secrecy Act was something that was written in 1951 and implemented in 1952 by the U.S. government and the Congress. What that did is it made any invention, any patent, the government had the power to classify that information. And there was a list of different things that could be invented that the government had power to classify and not release to the public.
And take it away. They give you, that gives them the right to take away your invention.
Yeah. So they can take it away from you. So there was things in there, weapons, different types of energy things, sound things. I can understand that. But one of the things, and I'm just going to mention this because I really need to mention this, is one of the categories that they classified the inventions on were mapping, charting, and geodesy. Geodesy is the science of measuring the earth. Why would that be dangerous? Okay.
Because Jimmy, it measures the depth of the oceans, and they can see to the bottom of the ocean to see what is there.
Maybe we can bring that particular subject up at when we talk about another topic. But what I'm going with this is they have the ability to probably be 40 to 50 years more advanced than what the public has now. So if you see what looks like a UFO and it's shooting down a laser beam and taking out, that's going to scare a lot of people and think the aliens are invading us. But if you know this stuff, then you don't live in fear because you're like, that's bullcrap. That's a false flag.
Right.
So that's what I wanted to mention on that.
Okay.
And the Secrecy Act.
Okay, go ahead.
What he was mentioning, Ruby, was this thing called the Secrecy Act, 1951 Secrecy Act. And I don't know if you heard him, but You know, when people sometimes ask in the chat or they ask in general, like, well, where's the proof? Well, you know, I don't understand, where's the proof, or how do you know? Why do they take away these technologies or these inventions or things? It's like, because they don't want us to know. They know that they are hiding all this stuff on purpose.
Mhm.
Oh wow. Okay. I just
Can,
looked
can
it
I
up
make one
really
more
quick.
statement on that, Ruby, real
Yeah.
quick?
Mm-hmm.
The reason to go along with the way Lili's saying it, here's an example. Back in the 70s and 80s, our phones were on a wall in one room in the house, pretty much, right?
Mm-hmm.
How far have we advanced in phone technology? How far have we advanced with the internet capabilities? How far have we advanced in social media? These are inventions that the deep state globalist Illuminati allowed to happen because they have control over it.
Mm-hmm.
And they
It
can
just keeps Jimmy. It just keeps everybody distracted, so they can
and
keep
that
controlling
too.
them.
Yeah, that too. But my point being is, if we can advance in those areas,
Mm-hmm.
why do we still have our airplanes flying with combustible engines? Why are we still driving around in our cars with combustible engines? Why
Mm-hmm.
is it that when you go down the road, you see power poles and power lines the same you did in the 30s and 40s?
Follow the
Mm-hmm.
money. Follow the
Why?
money.
Why? Why can't we advance in those areas?
Because they
They
have power, and
exactly,
follow the
exactly.
money, greed, power, property, land, nations. It don't matter.
Yeah, so
It's
that's
all
the
the
point.
way up.
Yeah, that's the point that I wanted to make on that is they have the capability to be so far more advanced than what we have because they hit it all.
Okay. Okay. So let me backtrack this. There's a lot of information. So hold on.
Okay.
Okay. So the whole 1951 Act, I understand that about the inventions and the patents and things like that, because the government is obviously going to want to use new inventions or new things for themselves first, and then they market it to the public, and then they make money off of it.
But you gotta pay. You gotta pay for the patent, Ruby. They get
Okay.
money.
Okay. Okay. So it's supposed to be yours. Like if you buy a house, it's supposed to be yours. It's your property, but we still gotta pay taxes on it. And if you don't, they take it away. So they
Correct.
control that. I understand the control aspect of that. But now that you're diving into why don't we see advancements in America, like infrastructure and different things like that, electronics, technology. I I do believe that. Of course, the government is always going to have 50 years in advance for the military. That's
Yeah,
how we
but
got the GPS and the internet.
Ruby,
Mm-hmm.
honey, it's like copyright. You got me? It's
Mm-hmm.
like the copyright. You can't do a dang thing against them. That's all I'm saying, hon.
Can I
I
reply
love
to
you.
Ruby and Jimmy?
Yes, go ahead, JP.
Yeah, absolutely right. The government is at least 50 years in advance in the technology, and they will only release to us what they decide that they want to. For example, like with cellular phones, the internet, GPS systems, all that have been around for a really long time. It's just we now have access to it after the government has already experimented with it, developed it, and already used it to the means that they have decided. So what that tells us is that there's many things that they have, and that's only what they have allowed us to know what they have. There's things that they're never going to tell us about that we're never going to find out. And as far as the slow releases of technology and other stuff, we will see it as they allow it. But since it's all part of the New World Order and stuff, they do control all of that. So with the with the one you know, there are certainly, I'm sure, real alien life forms and stuff, but we also have to understand that there is a government plan that is, for one, they have planned to, have a fake returning of Christ, a fake alien invasion. All those are possible scenarios that they have already weighed out. And they know people are going to go for it, and it'll be easy way to get a new world order and a one world government, because I see it like there's some people too who are Christians and look at the Bible, and the way I see it, like I'm a Christian, but I believe that everything is possible, because if you take any seriousness of the Bible and stuff, the thing that does give people faith is and I don't think really many Christians really look at the Bible like this, but if you look at the whole Bible from Genesis to Revelation, the entire book is a supernatural book. Everything in there is literally impossible, like from a snake talking to Eve to, a global flood to these well, you can call them aliens, but they were angels, sons of God at the time, that came down and interbred with women, and they produced these hybrid superhuman giant offsprings. And witnesses were told, oh, you can't go to this movie because it's bad or that. It's like, well, look at the Bible. Like everything in these crazy movies, like in the Lord of the Rings and all that, is like in the Bible.
Do you
All
know
the way
that
through
me and my
Revelation,
little
through all the
sister,
miracles that you just did.
me and my little sister watched on a black and white TV, Amityville Horror, and we had to watch it in the garage. We had to sneak out of the house. A house of 9 kids, okay? So my dad and my mom knew, all right? And we were sneaking out, and we watched the Amityville Horror on the TV, and I didn't watch a horror movie for a while after that because it freaked me the heck out.
So really quickly, Jimmy. So what is your theory on the reason why they are either withholding this from us, hiding it, lying about it, and what do you think is going to happen next? Or like, what's the reason do you think?
Okay. All right, can you please repeat the question? Sorry. Got distracted. I apologize.
Because you said, oh, why wouldn't we have the airplanes or better cars, and
Okay.
you still see the power lines. So why do you think that they're not investing that in our day-to-day life, or withholding it, or taking away these inventions? Like what's your theory?
Well, one thing is if they released a lot of this stuff, if we had free energy, they have no control over that. They can't make money off of free energy. And think about how many corporations that are beholden to the deep state system. How many of those industries would just fall? What if they had the technology? Let's put it out there, med beds. What if there were med beds? How many different corporations and government entities would not be needed if med beds were able to take care of us? They've already hidden cures for just regular diseases and regular sicknesses. They've hidden cures because they can't make money off a healthy person. So take it to the next level. They can't make money off this stuff. And because if we had this stuff, it would free us up and we wouldn't be on their hamster wheel, and our consciousness would be able to expand because we're not being stifled by the everyday humdrum 9-to-5 work life. It's about control. That's why they don't release a lot of this stuff. And let's say if they have the DUMs, the tunnels, and we've heard about maglev trains. They can travel from one place to another quicker than spit. They don't want us having that. So that's the reason why I think they're hiding this stuff. because they lose control and they can't make money. What was the second part of the question?
Think about.
No, I think you covered it
I was just
actually.
gonna. Enter into that thought. Think of all the industries that potentially don't need to happen anymore. I mean, just like he said about these supersonic systems underground, airplanes. You know, how many people are going to need to take airplanes? Hardly any.
Yep.
The industries that would be gone is just it's mind blowing. And I've watched documentaries where this kind of subject was talked about in the 800s, and the movers and shakers of the world decided back then this is what's going to happen and this is what's not going to happen.
I just had an epiphany. It just hit me. What's the definition of fascism?
I'll get you.
Let me look it up. Fascism is when a government teams up with corporations and they run everything. That's fascism.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So if we had all this stuff talking about all these corporations going down and government entities not being needed no more, it would destroy fascism.
I have a question. I don't know if any of you have heard about what happened in Peru when there was like, you know, the native Peruvian people, they kind of got attacked by some kind
Yes.
of you know about that.
Yes.
And then there was a witness,
Yeah.
a young girl who said she heard them speaking, and they were speaking in a broken broken language, but she recognized it was like I don't remember if she said it was English or Spanish because they are in Peru, so I would assume Spanish, but it was like with an American accent. So yeah, I'm thinking that whole operation might have been a test of some kind, something they might be doing on a larger scale. And if that's true, that's really scary because those people were like burnt in the face. Some of them died. And it's like very advanced technology. These people were like levitating over them, and they were in these full suits with these big boots that had like fire coming out of the bottom.
I
What do
hadn't
you
heard
guys
that.
know about that? What do you know about it?
I hadn't heard about that, but now my interest is piqued. I need to look that
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look it up as well. I think Lily was having internet issues because it bounced her off. So I hope. Okay, there you go, Lily. You're a little glitchy. Oh man.
I think she
It's
had
a
heard about it.
psyop, what she just said.
Oh.
Did that come through?
Are you saying it wasn't real, or
No,
Government, people flying around in jetpacks, trying to get control of people.
Oh, we lost her again. Sorry.
So I know where she was going with that. Yeah, you know, she's talking about, you know, the levitating. That'd be like the jetpacks that they have. We've seen them. We've seen fun little videos on YouTube of people in jetpacks. Maybe they tried to do a dry run. That's one thing that these people do is they do dry runs to see exactly what they need to do to control the people. How many freaking viruses have happened since 2001? Like every 2, 3, 4 years, there's a list of them. So those were dry runs for what they did in 2020. This is just another thing that they're doing, creating a dry run just to see how they can better their operation.
Jimmy, this is Becky. I was going to ask you a question.
Sure.
Do you think that them doing that dry run might be okay? Do you think maybe that those drones are the four-bladed creatures with the man's face to only sting the humans, but not the land, and they wouldn't hurt God's people. So the drones don't hurt God's people. But those drones can sure turn in a lot of people. What have you thought about that, Jimmy?
All right. I'm gonna say this, and I know a lot of people aren't going to buy into it yet, and that's okay. But this is where my belief is on this. I honestly think that a lot of stuff in Revelation was already put there as their playbook. I think they want to play out Revelation.
I'm with you.
And so when thanks guys. So that's my thing. We got to look, and I'm sorry for those. This is just how I feel. It was the Bible was a creation back in Constantine's time. It was used for control, and they put in what they wanted to put in. And this is a battle that's been going on for a very long time. So when they put in Revelation, that is them putting in their playbook. That is them telling you what they're going to do without telling you. And they get people to buy into it. Like they got people to buy into the pandemic, buy into the fact that we have to go to war in Iraq because they took down 2 towers. It's a pattern.
Understood. We've got to use our brains no matter what hits us on this planet, no matter what hits us in our lives, no matter what phone call we have. We have got to play it out with ourselves to where what we're doing, how we're responding to people is okay with us, with each individual person. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, so that's how I feel about that. And, one of the things I really did, I know there's some folks in here that are, maybe new waking up or just starting the process, is one of the things you need to look for is patterns. They're out there. They exist. They can be found. So when someone says, oh, well, do you have proof of that? Okay, let's look at the pattern. Is it out of the ordinary that they would try something like an alien invasion? No, it's not out of the ordinary because they've done crap before that's on same pattern, just a different way of doing it.
Yeah, drop a ball in front of them and tell them to disprove gravity.
Exactly.
Wow. Yeah, great points, everybody. So I'm gonna give everybody at least I'll give like a 5-minute outro. You can give your final thoughts and then we'll just go one by one on the panel. So 5 minutes, Culty, let us know, how do you feel after this whole stream? I liked it so much. It was fun. It was amazing. I had a roller coaster of emotions today. So how was it for you, Culty?
I mean, I always enjoy the conversation, and I am a conspiracy theorist. I will admit it. Well, I say I'm a conspiracy realist, though.
Yes.
You like Jimmy said, you see the patterns. They are there. And you pick up on it, and you have to pay attention to what's going on. Revelation, I heard, it comes from the word reveal, so it's a revealing, and that kind of makes sense to me because it seems like we are being, there is a revealing that's happening right now at this time. And I think I agree with Jimmy with everything pretty much he just said there, that these books were written to manipulate us, and believe it or not, we have way more in common with like everyone around the world, whether Muslim or Hindu, and their books really are. And I'm sad that Monica couldn't make it back because I really wanted to hear more of what she had to say, because she sounds like she's a very knowledgeable person and has
We're gonna have
studied
to
a
have
lot
her
of these
back,
things.
maybe like a part 3, and we'll have
Yeah,
Monica. Yeah.
that'd be cool. Because I know like little bits of what she was talking about, but I'm not real familiar with with it. So yeah, I'd be interested. But I think that there's like a similar thread through all of the holy, quote unquote, holy books. And the older I get, I love to say this, the older I get, the more I realize that how little I really know. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
I
Yes,
used to
I
think I knew
agree.
it all. I used to think that and I was never baptized as a Jehovah's Witness, and I still think I knew everything that was going to happen and how it was going to happen, because they
It's
get in
the
your head.
arrogance of it,
Yes.
honey. Culty, it's the
Yes.
arrogance, and you can't even let anything else in because of the arrogance of
Exactly.
Boom.
And now that I've broken that, I'm like, God, I know like a fraction of anything. So I really try to like rein myself in when I'm like in the chat and I'm like, no, that's this, and and then I'm like, wait a minute, what do I really know? You know what I mean? But that's it. I think it's a very interesting topic, and I'm totally here for it.
Yes, thank you so much for joining, Culty. I definitely like I appreciated everybody on this panel. It made me think as well. It's gonna make me do research. I want to thank Lily and Jimmy for talking about this last week. That made me do this. Maybe do this stream. And so, welcome back, Lily. Before you were hopped off, I said we're gonna just wrap it up, and I'm just gonna give like 5 minutes for everybody to do an outro and kind of like final thoughts. So Becky is up next. You can let us know, what are your final thoughts, Becky?
I have enjoyed this evening, Ruby. I have really enjoyed it. And really, I've enjoyed talking with everybody. Jimmy, I love talking to you. Culty, it's great seeing your face. Lily, thank you for your input. And Ruby, that's all I want to say, honey. You're doing a great job. That's all I have to say.
I
Aw,
just want
thank
to
you,
say thank you
Becky.
too. Yeah. Thank you, Ruby. And thank you,
Yeah.
everybody.
No, thank you guys, because I love it when it's not just me and it's different minds, different backgrounds, different perspectives coming all together. And I'm not in an echo chamber. I'm not just thinking about what I believe in and just staying like so concrete about something. It forces me to see how other people see the world. And this is the exposure I'm doing it live with you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I love it. I love doing it with you guys. So thank you for joining. Lily, go ahead. You're next.
I just generally am glad that people are talking with open minds, and it's just really amazing to hear so many ex-JWs letting themselves stretch like this, and Jimmy for all his wealth of knowledge and the way that he's able to bring things back to center. And what I mean by bringing it to center is, um, why are they manipulating us? What is the plan? That's why conspiracy people talk about this kind of stuff, is because there's a pattern. There's too many dots connecting sentences. It's happening everywhere. And when something hits up against a belief system or a fear of letting one explore other thoughts, ask yourself why. Why are you stopping yourself when there's so much evidence?
Power doesn't change its MO. That's all I have to say.
Wow, thank you, Lily. I appreciate that. JP, it's your turn. Go ahead.
Well, thank you, Ruby, for having the show. I think by far this is one of my most favorite shows that we've had, because I'm always been fascinated with not only stuff like the UFO, UAP stuff, but also, strange creatures and things like for the unexplained and conspiracy theories. I like stuff like that. Like, I like talking about angels and demons, Bigfoot, the abominable snowman, and, other aliens, other stuff like that, the mysteries of the Bible and things like that. So I appreciate that. What I can conclude from what I heard they were talking about tonight is, well, there's either two things. Either extraterrestrials are real or they're not real and they visited us, or they haven't. But there's so many, ways to explain both sides, and it does make sense. But I think at best, I personally do believe that there are foreign extraterrestrials, because I am a person who does believe in the Bible. So, I mean, if an angel came down here, like Gabriel or something, and spoke to somebody, in the Bible, then that's an extraterrestrial. So, like one of the ladies was speaking about earlier, a lot of the characters and people in the Bible that aren't from our planet are extraterrestrials. So therefore, we can probably consider them alien if you go, and support what is in the Bible, which I do for the most part as a Christian. Well, my point being is that there's different scenarios. So I think that the government has to do something with it for the most part, and they're kind of batting on that for it to sell, or for them to use that as the possibility of there are aliens in order to take advantage of us. Now, whether they have access or came into contact with aliens, we're not really quite sure. But I don't see why they would just, meet with the White House or these top governments and only negotiate with them, or just reveal themselves to them to make it that they're hiding something. I think if they were really around, it would be just blatantly obvious, and they would pop up quite a bit more often than just the government trying to conceal something. But I also think too that they have so many ways of faking things. So yes, I think it could be real aliens that are around, but I also think that the government also has a plan, whether they do know if there's other species or things that exist or not, that they still have a plan to deceive and mislead us. So we have to be wary of that and just keep our minds open to the unknown. And I think this was a great show. I really enjoyed it. And I could say so much more, but man, you only give me 5 minutes,
What great comments. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, Ruby. You better oh my gosh, you better come back. You better come back.
I'm gonna do a series. That's it. We're gonna do an alien series. Thank you, JP. Jimmy, you're up next.
Okay, well, first I want to say this has been an excellent conversation. I've enjoyed seeing folks for the first time on camera. That's awesome. Great topic. One thing that I want to mention is, for the new folks, and I've said this over and over again, when you leave Watchtower, you woke up from Watchtower, but you haven't completely woken up, because there's so much more. And even as awake as I feel like I am right now, there's still things that I'm going to be woke up about too. The reason I say that is because one of the things that I did is I dropped the arrogance and the egotism of I always had to be right.
Yes, Jimmy.
I had that spirit for a very long time. And even when I got into arguments with folks, they would say, well, Jimmy, why do you got to always be right? Okay, so I recognized that in me and realized for me to wake up even more to things happening, I need to drop that ego and that arrogance.
Gotcha.
That's why I'm so open-minded to things. And I look, and then, like I said before, about finding out the patterns, putting things together. This life we live right now and what we're dealing with is like you've been handed a box of puzzle pieces, but you don't have the picture. You don't know what the picture looks like, but all the pieces are there. You have to start putting these pieces together, and you can't do it by yourself. That's why conversations like this are very important, because someone will say something, you'd be like, oh man, I remember that piece over here. I think it's going to match up with what I just learned over here. because everything is connected. Everything. So, do I believe in aliens? I absolutely do. I do believe that we're not the only intelligent life form in this universe. Now, how is that information going to come to the public? I don't know. I have my thoughts, I have my ideas about it. Do I know that aliens went to the White House? No, I don't. I don't know. I didn't see them there. But hopefully, disclosure will tell a lot. Hopefully, I do believe that that's going to happen. And I'm going to say, in the Q post, it said what we're going to see, it's going to be biblical. And for something to be biblical, it has to be cosmic. It has to wake up a lot of people. And I think that's where we're headed. Now, that's what I'm going to say about that. But I do have a last point that I want to make, Ruby, and this may segue into another topic of discussion. When we're talking about extraterrestrials, from what I understand, the word terrestrial means earth or land. So extra earth, extra land. What if, and I'm just going to throw it out there for the next show or whatever, we don't know what's beyond the ice wall.
Yes.
Is there extra land? Is there extra earth? And are there beings on these lands? And when they come into the Earth's atmosphere, is that what we're seeing?
I don't know,
thank you for
Jimmy.
having me.
I feel pretty loved, and I don't know, but I do know that the Heavenly Father, people believe in the Heavenly Father, Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit. They're not of this earth. They are not from terra firma.
I agree with that.
I think I was the one that you were talking about earlier. I just know that they're extraterrestrials.
I'm saying what I'm mentioning, Becky, that there's both. You have the ones
I
in them.
agree. I think they're both happening at the same time.
That's what I mean by that.
Yes.
And there's a new term that even the people in the highest levels of knowledge about these things, it's called ultra terrestrial.
Correct.
Oh.
Yeah, correct.
And that one has everybody confused. Space Force, you name it. They're all confused about that one.
Yeah, let's confuse them, but let's confuse them more when they start having an answer. That's all I've got to say, Jimmy, about that one.
Let's just say it's going to be an interesting ride, folks. We've got a lot to learn. We're going to see things in our lifetime, and I totally believe this because I've seen the way the pattern's going. We're going to see some stuff that's going to shock the crap out of us.
I agree.
Oh, we have somebody joining us. WDH. Hello, welcome to the channel. If you want to give a quick intro, or if you just want to go right with your thoughts, go right ahead.
Oh no, I'm kind of nervous.
Go ahead, bro. Just speak. Speak in present.
This is like only like my third time doing a live stream, but the topic you're on is pretty, like, it's like the type of stuff I'm into.
Okay, awesome. I will keep the stream going because I was wrapping it up, but I will stay here if you have something. If you want to keep it going, go right ahead. Let me know how you feel. Go ahead.
What is? I do believe UFOs are real. Like, I've looked into it way too much. Maybe not like research, but like I've watched videos and I've actually seen them. I've seen like UFOs, like some stuff in the sky. It was I only seen it twice though. It was like something so unexpected.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, just to ask you, if you don't mind me asking, are you an XJW? Or did you just find me on the algorithm?
Well, I was never baptized, but I was basically like raised as a Jehovah Witness. Yeah.
Yeah, so they got
But
your mind.
Yeah.
yeah, I never,
You had a little
I
bit of
never,
brainwashing bath.
yeah, yeah. I stopped celebrating like birthdays when I was like 7 or 8. All the holidays like I didn't do and stuff, but it was like I don't know. I don't know. I was like, is this the truth?
Mm-hmm.
Because it seemed like the truth, and like I was like, I don't know. It was just like I was always like really wanted to find out the truth. Like what is the truth? Because they would say all religions are false and we have the truth, and I'd be like, but don't they think that they have the truth too? Like how, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
Good point.
it was weird to me, like just growing up in that religion. But like I've learned a lot of things like throughout my life. I'm like 33 now,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel weird because everybody's quiet.
No, I'm
No, we're
listening to you.
listening.
Because you have the
Yeah.
floor.
Yeah, I'm
No,
sorry.
no, honey, we're just listening to you. We know
Yeah.
our stories. We're
Yeah,
listening to your
Yeah,
story.
you're new. So we're
yeah.
welcoming you and letting you speak.
Thanks. I appreciate that. No, but
Yeah.
I do like to talk about this stuff. Like I don't know. I don't.
Okay. So let me ask you this then. So
Yeah.
since you claim to have like an encounter, like that you saw something, would it be safe to say that you believe in like UFOs or like aliens or different life forms? Do you believe that because of what you experienced?
Yeah, of course, I do believe that there's like a higher power, and I believe there's, well, this is what I truly believe. Like
Mm-hmm.
everything that we were taught as a witness wasn't completely wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I get that.
Like I don't know. Like I see a lot of XJW videos, and they like kind of like make fun of the witnesses and like how dumb they are, or something like that. That they're brainwashed, and I'm like, because my mom still believes, but she doesn't go anymore to the Kingdom
Mm-hmm.
Hall. And I've tried to tell her like what truth is. She don't want to
Mm-hmm.
listen to it. But like I understand like the Bible itself is like was meant to confuse you. That's why there's so many different denominations in the Bible. You know what I mean? Like not everybody agrees. Everybody's fighting over like translations over words, what this says, what this. It's all the Bible is. The reason why I learn about a lot about the Bible is because I was always like looking at like ex-Christians, ex-atheists. I was looking at different religions. I was like into conspiracies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I would watch like a bunch of like I was always like looking at channels that talk about like this type of stuff that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And then like one time like I was looking at this guy, like he was talking about astrotheology and how the Bible is like a holy science and stuff,
Oh
and
yeah,
how to take
I've
care of
been
your
down that
body.
road.
And it almost sounds like it's like new age type stuff. I don't know, not I guess not everybody in new age believes the same thing. Because I went because I met a psychic, or not a
Ooh.
psychic, but like a palm reader. I went into her shop and like I started asking her questions, and
Mm-hmm.
she was gonna read like my cards and stuff, and then like we just started talking, and then we just
Mm-hmm.
had a conversations of we just had like a conversation about what we believed in, and then
Mm-hmm.
I told her what I believed in, and like I should just get to the point. It's because like I don't know if you guys ever heard the book called like The Divine Secret Garden.
No, I've never heard of it.
No.
It's an 8 series book. It's it's a it's it's a book.
Mm-hmm.
There's 8 books.
Mm-hmm.
And like the first book talks about how we live in a garden and how like the seeds were planted. It talks about the garden. And all of
Mm-hmm.
this stuff that we're talking about is like very real. When you talk about God and the devil, it's all very real, but it's like because like we live in like we live like in a dream, like in a simulation.
Yes.
Mm.
But we fell asleep here and we've been trying to figure out how to get out, how to wake up.
Stop it.
I've heard
Yep.
No.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Are
Yes.
you serious? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Say what you did. Say what you said and say it to me again. Okay,
That we're
please.
asleep. We're asleep. We fell asleep because the 3D dimensional world is death. It deteriorates. Everything dies here.
Well,
So
I know
but
that
the
the Bible says
body.
if you have knowledge and you don't learn humility, he will take the knowledge away from you.
Yeah, the
That's
Bible says a lot of things, but the Bible was meant to confuse you. That's
yeah.
the book.
Well,
The
I
first book.
don't know. I think if you use your own
I know this is.
mind,
I know this
you'll
is.
be
I know this is.
fine. But if you listen to other people's minds, that's their take on it, not yours.
Okay, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Jimmy would like to say something. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Okay.
I'm raising
Okay.
my hand on this one. I think what blew everybody's mind there for a second was when he said, "We live in a simulation." Okay, I think that's what blew everybody's mind. Am I correct on that?
Yes,
Yeah.
my
Not me
heart rate
because
went up and I'm sweating a little.
Let
Yes.
me give you an example. Okay,
Hmm.
first off, what is a simulation? What is a matrix? What is it?
Like a program.
Okay, a program. Let's go a little deeper. Could it be
It's space and time. It's space and time, Jimmy.
hold on,
And power.
okay, but I'm going somewhere else. Could it be something that is a controlled situation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's go back to the Invention Secrecy Act of 1952.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the knowledge that they have.
Mm.
Are they controlling our environment? And when I mean
Space,
environment,
that's what I meant.
they could,
Space
yeah.
and time and
So,
power.
so are they controlling that? Yes, they are.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have the ability to control weather?
Yes.
Yes.
So if they have the ability to control these things, does that mean, yes, we are living in a simulation because it's not the real life?
Jimmy, do
theory.
you know that I
theory.
called the weatherman on my radio station and I texted him about all of these flashes that come up in front of thunderstorms, and they're all these white air things that they've got going on, and it's all these spikes, and you can see it on your radar for weather. You can see them all flashing, and then here comes the storm that direction.
Yeah. So
I'm not joking, Jimmy.
yeah, I agree with you. So my point is about living in a simulation or a matrix. They control our weather. They control our information. They control our religions. They control the food that we eat by what they put into it. They control our health care. Tell me we're not living in the matrix, because we're not living the way humans are supposed to be living.
Right. I agree with you. But if that is true in theory, let's just say in theory, how do we break out of that type of simulation? Because this is just an illusion of freedom, an illusion
That's
of
what
a
the book
sunny day,
reveal.
an illusion of good food, an illusion of having a great time outside.
This is why, and I'll just give my opinion on
We
this.
don't break out. We don't break out.
No, we do break out.
Oh,
And the
you
way
do?
There is a way out. There is a way out.
And
Okay,
just like
the first.
can I make this last point?
Yeah,
Yes,
hold on.
yes, go
Let
ahead.
Jimmy go first for about 2 minutes, and then we'll do 3 minutes for each person. Okay, go
Just
ahead.
like Neo did in the Matrix, he woke up to the reality of what he was dealing with, and he couldn't handle it at the beginning. That's where we're at now. And as far as breaking it, how do we break it? By doing what we're freaking doing now. By
We're trying
speaking
to
out,
decode it.
getting the information out there, not just in our little circles, but the knowledge is power. And if we know these things, why aren't we reaching out to, a local official, a congressman, getting their ears and saying, hey, we know this. We know this stuff. Why aren't you folks doing anything about it? We, the people, hold them accountable. That going back to the Constitution, this is what it was all about. We, the people, told the government how they were going to serve us. We forgot that and let them turn it around on us. So how do we fight? With our knowledge, with the information we have, and getting it to the right places and speaking out. This is why World War III will be known in the history books as the information war. That's where we're in now and been in since 2016, 2017.
Okay, Lily, you're up next. About 3 minutes. How do you think we can break out of that simulation?
Well, I just want to thank Jimmy because he's able to put into words what's in my head. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're constantly doing it. Thank you. As far as the getting out, there's a few points that I will have to bring up another time, but it has to do with timelines and what those running the world know about our timeline. We are having issues with our sun and different parts of our planet that are natural. They're natural cycles of time. And so we're being forced to wake up so that we're raising our vibration. So like the other fellow, Gigi, was talking about the different third density, fourth density, fifth density. So he's right about that. We, in waking up, are raising our vibration. So when this event happens, we are able to continue in our consciousness so much easier because our consciousness never ends.
Yep.
Wait. Sorry, hold up. What do you mean never ends? Do you mean in terms of like death? Like you never really die? That your spirit?
Correct.
Your
Jimmy, you want to take this for me? Because I know you know it's in my head.
Okay. Okay.
From
So,
what-
all right, Jimmy, go ahead.
So from what Lily is saying, basically, yeah, we lose our meat suits. Like Gigi said, to go to the fourth dimension, to go to the fifth dimension, you need a different type of body.
Correct.
And it's not of flesh and blood. It could be crystalline.
Correct.
And so
And I don't know why the GB keeps showing Eve with her flesh holding the fruit. I'm sorry, I disagree.
and that's, I think she's referring to the governing body.
Yeah, they didn't have fruit. I mean, they didn't have flesh. And when it says that the wages that sin pays is death, well, the proof of our sin is our flesh. Of course, our flesh is gonna die.
But the consciousness continues on because consciousness never stops.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Okay. Hold on. You're breaking my head.
And
right
I
now.
think that's our soul.
Yes.
That is our soul, our heart, and our mind. But the flesh, when it says the sin, that sin pays is death, our sin is represented by our flesh. So when we die, that kind of sin is gone. But we still have to answer to come to Jesus meeting and talk to him, and he'll figure us out.
Right. I agree with that. Going back to your Jimmy, did you say crystalline? Because I had to Google that. Did you say crystalline?
Crystalline.
Okay, I just looked it up. Is the definition having a structure and form of a crystal composed of crystals. So that's what you mean by that. You said we
Correct.
would have to lose our physical bodies and probably use
Take
a
on a
different form to
correct.
enter those types of dimensions.
Correct.
It's amethyst. It's amethyst, Jimmy. Have you found out that it's amethyst yet inside of the geo?
I haven't. I've always been drawn to amethyst. I love the color, but
But I mean, when they open a geode and it's beautiful crystal and amethyst.
yeah, yeah. And if you think about, ain't well, let me
The planet is made of rocks and minerals and crystals. And our planet is we have the ability to connect with our planet. And to throw in a little Christianity thought, one of the reasons why some religions don't want their parishioners or their people to talk about or think about or have crystals and things like that is because connecting to the earth is our natural state. And so therefore, you understand where I'm going with that?
Yes,
So
that's what I was telling Jimmy, that the amethyst is love and peace and
sorry.
unity and connection. That's what that stone means, Jimmy.
Okay, I'll just take a pause for a second. I want to welcome Shane. Just entered the chat, the panel. I mean, but before we go to Shane, I would like to get any thoughts from WDH. And if you have another name you want me to refer you to, please let me know so that I don't call you by a letter. But go ahead, W.
I heard some of the stuff you guys are talking about, but I always feel like I'm learning. So like, it's because I've learned throughout each life that we have the opportunity to wake up.
Yes.
And the truth is like really simple. Everybody knows the truth. Everybody has the truth within them already. And the tree of life is within us. It's just the fruits of the spirit. Like if you say like the heavenly virtues is what we have. This is what like raises your frequency as well. And the whole thing is like we're aligning our frequency to the correct frequency, like back to where we came from.
Beautifully said.
Correct.
Beautifully said.
Correct.
So we have to completely change. So like when I say like the Bible was like to confuse you, it's because it was because how is a book before you were born already predicts the future? It's because it's already happened. So this is why there's like timelines and stuff. Like, because I learned that the universe and the sun, all the moons and the stars, the three-dimensional world is a simulation, but it's our soul is like locked because of good and evil. So when we entered the school of good and evil, we've had to learn through experience.
Interesting point.
So the tree of knowledge of good and bad was actually a school, like that we entered, and we were playing these roles, and it became real to us. So like detaching from this world is like, I'm shaking. It's hard because it's like it's not easy. So like when people talk about like other people being lost and stuff, it's like everybody's just trying to find their own the path back home, and the only thing that's here is our mind, because our spirit is our higher self. The spirit is the higher self. The soul is separate from the spirit, and the soul projects what's out in this 3D dimensional world.
I
But
agree.
but it talks a lot about, because the first book talks about the garden, the second book talks about the virtual reality. This third book talks about the pyramid and the all-seeing eye. So it talks about government, it talks about fame. In the beginning, it talks about Christmas. The fifth book
Um,
talks about
W,
it goes.
sorry to interrupt
Yes,
you, but
yes.
I put in the chat and also in the private chat our Discord. So if you want to join us on Discord,
yeah.
you can DM me. There's like a whole like community on there, and Shane as well. You can go to the private chat and there's a Discord link. Copy that and join us because we can continue this online because I know I'm reaching like 3 hours, but I do want to go to Colty and I'll give Colty 3 minutes to respond and then we'll go to Shane so that we can start wrapping it up. Go ahead, Colty.
I need that book.
What's
Whatever
the
book
name of
you're
the book
talking about.
again?
It's called The Divine Secret Garden.
And who is it by?
John V. Pinella. I only have the first book.
Okay, text me that, W. Text, put it in the private chat if you can, or if you go down Discord, text that to us, please.
Yeah, I would love to connect on Discord also
How
because
how would I text you that? It's called The Divine Secret Garden. Hold up. It's because my phone just has me.
I know you're on a phone.
Well,
Okay, so
we should all be able to find it with the title.
Yeah, The Divine Secret Garden.
Okay,
Somebody
go ahead,
can type
Colty.
it in the
Your
chat
3 minutes
and
is
then
up.
we can.
Go ahead.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm really vibing with everything that W said and Jimmy and everybody that's nodding along here because there's a saying that all is mind. And before, it reminds me of what Jimmy said before about meditation. Another point about the Bible and these books is they're a distraction to what's outside so that you don't look internally to what's already there. You have a connection. And I personally, I'm not an atheist. I believe in God or an essence, I guess you would say. And I think that we all have a piece of that. Some would call it a soul, etc. But in order to be on this earth, we have a piece of that essence within us, but we're in a physical body because we need to be right now. And I agree with Lily when she was talking about our consciousness. Our consciousness is something that's eternal, and we need to reconnect with the internal in order to connect with what's there instead of being distracted by everything outside. And like I suffer with like a lot of anxiety a lot of times because I get too external. And I'm just realizing that now, that I really need to like meditate more, really connect with myself and confront, because if you're constantly perceiving things in a negative way, kind of like the JW way, of Armageddon's coming or whatever it might be, or this person's going to get into office, it's all about your perception. Then you are, or some people say this is a prison planet.
Mhm.
If you're constantly in that mindset, then that is true. That is true for you. Absolutely. So I think a big part of it is your mindset. That's all.
Wow, Colty, thank you. I'm right there with you. Shane, if you would like to give a quick intro, let us know like who you are, and then you can go right into your comments. You got 3 minutes.
Hey, Ruby. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay,
Welcome.
cool. Hey, guys. So I just
Hello.
want to, hi
Hello.
there. Hey, Jimmy, how's it going, buddy?
Good, man.
So thanks for putting these on. Appreciate it. Sorry you can't see my face. I have one of these privacy phone cases.
No problem.
But yeah, I grew up in the organization. My dad is an elder, mom regular pioneer for almost 30 years, and I dabbled in regular pioneering as well. And fortunately woke up in 2017. And I think the biggest thing that helped me to come to terms with the big picture was studying astrotheology, because there's such thing as coincidences, but when you dig back to Sumerian times and Egyptian times and Horus and the sun god and the parallels between that and Christianity, there's just no arguing with those, the way it lines up.
Yep.
So I understand people are going to need something, and that might be a part of their process, to fully waking up. But yeah, and then 2020 was pretty awesome. Got into the political side of things, and that was a whole other level of waking up for myself as well. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how things pan out over the next 3 months. But yeah, just want to say thank you guys for coming on and putting these on. I'd like to start getting more active online and reaching people and kind of sharing my story a little bit more. And I had initially tried to do that, I think, back in 2020-ish, 21, and then kind of got sidetracked by life. So just wanted to pop in and yeah.
That's awesome.
Love what you guys are
That's
saying, though.
great.
Thanks,
Yeah,
man.
welcome.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Shane, for joining. I am going to also welcome you to the Discord, because I'm usually there more often than YouTube. I'm focusing more on these live shows. I'm not really doing videos. I don't want to waste my time with that. But
Yeah.
I am more in the interactive part of this community. I want to continue talking to people, meeting more, especially ExJWs. But we have even non-JWs, like Teddy was on one of my streams from the UK, like some guy who just found me on the algorithm, and
I
he
remember
joined
Teddy.
the Discord. Oh, did you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Teddy was like really great guy, and I
Yeah.
gave him the Discord. He joined, and we've been talking on there. So I'm also gonna invite you to join the Discord so we can continue this over there, and we play games. And
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like,
that's great. And I always put a teddy bear next to his name because he's so cute. He's so wonderful.
yes, I'm so happy that I did this. Oh my God, I was not expecting this. So
Can I
thank
say
you.
something real quick?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So I started watching a few weeks ago, and it was weird. Probably doing it might have been the DNC or the RNC. I'm not sure which one you guys were watching. I watched both of them. I think I only caught part of the DNC with you guys. But no, like Jimmy was saying, you learn to, I don't know how to put it, but when you're conversing with people who are asking questions, instead of reading into their tone of voice and kind of where they're coming from, learning to kind of just go through the process with them. Because initially I saw the conversation between Teddy and Jimmy. I was getting kind of heated because you can kind of tell when somebody's asking questions in a certain way.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like but at the same time it's a process. We all weren't where we want to be initially, and we're all still working to get even better. But yeah, it's cool to watch that dialogue. So I just wanted to mention that about Teddy. I'm sure he's a good guy. It's interesting watching dialogue from people who are coming from a certain position. I'm just glad he's up for the conversation.
Understand.
Yep. Okay, so I'm going to do this one more time. Final thoughts. Everybody can do a 3-minute final thoughts, and then I'm gonna go for real this time, because it's already midnight. I'm in Florida,
Yeah.
and I was not expecting to go this long, so I'm like super excited, super happy. I'm gonna start from the bottom up. So WDH, do you have any final thoughts that you would like to give here and now? And please do not be a stranger. Join the Discord and join me for future streams, because I'm going to keep this topic every week, okay? And we can do like politics and stuff, but if we can keep it like this, I'm gonna continue the topic, because this is heavy for me as well, and I'm still learning. So I want to continue doing this. Okay, go ahead, W. You got 3 minutes.
I just want to say thank you for letting me on, and it was nice talking with you guys. And I hope everybody wakes up. And I don't know, it's just amazing. Like knowledge is powerful, and we all have the potential to wake up. And I don't know.
Thank you, W. No, that's okay. You need to like get used to this. And I am. Listen, I'm Puerto Rican. I'm loud. I'm crazy. I have high energy, low energy. I start crying on the stream. I'm all over the place. So don't worry. Yeah. You're with good people here. Jimmy, you're up next. 3 minutes.
I think what makes me the happiest is seeing all the new voices jumping out on live streams, putting videos out, talking, because that gives me proof to know that we are winning this battle. We are winning over the minds and hearts of people. And when I started this process, my only goal was to do what I could to help wake people up. Now, I can't just physically wake people up. They have to do it on their own. But I can put out different guide markers. I can put out different signs. I can put out stuff. And those it's supposed to reach, it will. I'm to the point where I'm done trying to wake up the sleepers. I'm here for the other lions. And I feel like when I started going and bringing information to the ExJW community about the political side of things, I faced a lot of backlash. And that's because they were still conditioned in the group thinking. They hadn't dropped the ego or the arrogance. But what I see a tide changing. I see it changing because more people, because of what we've had to experience in this world right now and what we're dealing with, more people are waking up. It's just when you do wake up, you need to start speaking out, because that's how we can continue this battle. And we do have to remember, I think it was, I think W said it, we all are on a different journey. You know, we are at different levels. So for those that, and I think I said this last week, for those that are further along in the awakening process, we have to remember I spent 3 weeks by myself not knowing if there was a God or not.
Ow.
All right. When I first woke up.
Ow.
So from when I first woke up to now, I'm a completely different person because of knowledge. And that's what we all need to keep striving for. And I'm proud to see so many people come on.
Yes, thank you, Jimmy, because you were also a source for me when I was waking up politically and just in general. You were the only other guy on the internet, on Twitter, that was there for me. So it's like you have like a really special place in my heart. So I really do appreciate you a lot.
Thank you. That means a lot, because
yes,
that's all I've ever tried to do. And if I could wake up, I said it in the beginning, if I could just help wake up one person, then I feel like I've accomplished my mission. But I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep going until this war is over.
Yep. Thank you, Jimmy. Lily, go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Ditto on everything Jimmy said. And whenever I was already out for 17 years, but I didn't know there was an ex-Jehovah's Witness community until 2017, 2018. And it was exactly like Jimmy said, you know, people didn't want to talk about it. So I happened upon you guys a few weeks ago by accident. And I am sincerely impressed with how many people are waking up. and what more we have to wake up to. It's like no one of us knows it all. No one of us has all the pieces, but they obviously had a plan for a reason to keep us down, to keep us from connecting to, as the other man who joined us said, to our higher self. And that is instrumental in our ability to be able to somehow or another walk through the weeds, to be able to get through. And there are endless subjects to wake up on. And when we wake up on those hard subjects, like like what we all went through in the 2020, I don't want to say that catchword that may trigger the algorithms. It's like, imagine if we had more people and more knowledge had been talking about it back whenever other people were talking about it in 2017 and 2018, because there were amazing YouTubers talking about what the plan was before 3 or 4 years before they executed the plan. I watched YouTubers 2 or 3 that off the top of my head, they literally laid out diagrams of even the players and what they were going to do. It's we can't let this stuff happen to us again. We can't.
Yep.
Thank you,
That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so glad that you found us. I'm so glad that I found you, that we've been emailing back and forth. And I'm so glad that you joined us, because this is like the only time that I have. Like when I told you in that email, I don't have a lot of time on different days. So when I dedicate my Tuesday nights, I'm here with you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like this is me time. I put the kids to bed and I'm like, I'm gonna be doing something else, go to sleep. Like this is the time that I have to put my mind to you guys, to this. So I want to thank you for coming on. Shane, it's you're up. You have 3 minutes for any final thoughts.
Hey, well, I don't want to ramble too much, but kind of late to the party here. But yeah, just I want to thank everybody for doing what you guys do, and I'm looking forward to getting involved more again. I spoke with Jimmy back in the day, and we kind of had a couple conversations, which is pretty cool. And yeah,
Wait, is this
really
Shane
cool.
Green?
This is Shane Nelson.
Shane Nelson. Oh,
Yep.
damn, dude. Oh,
How's it going,
crap.
brother? Long
I
time.
remember talking. I'm sorry, Ruby. Yeah. Dude, hit me up on Twitter. You know my Twitter handle?
I don't.
Let me put it in I'll put it in the private chat. Or
Yeah, I
put
can
it
also bring it up.
Yeah,
Mhm.
put it. Let me put it in the private chat.
Yeah, that's the next thing that I was gonna do. I was gonna show everybody our Twitters just in case to contact us.
Okay.
And to stay in the loop. This is Jimmy Bell's page. I'll zoom in if you could see that.
Sweet. There it is. Perfect. Thank you so much.
I remember you, dude.
Yeah, bro.
I'm so glad you joined.
I think I still have you on my contacts on my phone too.
Okay,
Oh my God, this is so great, Ruby. Oh my word.
I just wanted to say real quick, Lily said she found us by accident. No, you didn't, sweetheart. Everything has there's a reason for everything.
Yeah, there's a reason.
No coincidences.
That's right.
There's
No,
a motivation. You don't say I have to, you say I must. There is a motivation when it says I must. Yep.
They call that synchronicity. Synchronicity.
It is real.
And this is me. This is me, guys.
Cool.
That's me.
And I'm old.
It's like we can feel each other. It's like empathic. I think that love is empathic. You have to be empathic, feel that kind of love.
All right, we need to let Shane finish his 3 minutes.
Oh yes, go ahead, Shane.
That's all right. Yeah, that's cool. I'm just happy to be here, and yeah, I'm looking forward to your next live stream. But yeah, I'm I couldn't be happier since I woke up. So I just hope everybody else can have an opportunity to experience that as well. If you look at the changes in the organization, it's unbelievable. So yeah, it's just a matter of time. I believe it seems like it's definitely unraveling at the seams. I'm just hoping that the changes aren't going to keep the people locked in who are, well, I mean, it will. I mean, not only it's going to keep the people locked in who are passive and sheep, but I know there's got to be tons of people still, if you look at the big picture, that are questioning things, especially with the rapid changes. So I'm looking forward to another tranche of JW exits in the up and coming. But yeah.
Thank you, Shane. I'm so glad you joined us.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Becky, you're up. 3 minutes. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Ruby. You take the rest. Tonight is wonderful. I have no response. I am going to listen. This is awesome. You take it, give it to somebody else.
Okay, Colty, you're up. 3 minutes.
I mean, I just feel like this was not only a meeting of the minds, but a meeting of the hearts tonight. We are all connected. Everything is connected, and we're here for a reason. And I'm very much looking forward to continuing. And Ruby, you're an inspiration to me, and because I did start a channel like a while back, and you know, you get attacked in the comments, and like I took it personally. And Jimmy, you're another huge inspiration for me. I've been watching you for a long time, since I had like 2 different other names. So I've been around for a while, and I was changing my name. But yeah, I mean, the knowledge that we're all sharing, like somebody said, that we don't all know everything. And like I said before, the older I get, the more I realize that how little I really do know. So I love to learn. So yeah, looking forward to everybody joining that Discord and getting on there and sharing.
Wow, yeah, thank you guys. My final thoughts are all over the place. I had a crazy night. I called my mom. Like, what the heck did I do? I should have not done that, but I'm impulsive sometimes.
Yes, Ruby, but you did a good thing. You followed your instinct and you felt where she was at that time when you called.
Right.
And you know what? It showed all of us we know what we're going to get when we call. That's all.
Yeah, something pushed me to do that. Like, why would I do that? Like, who, what? And so I surprise myself sometimes when I do like dumb stuff like that. But I'm glad it all happened, and I'm glad you were with me, because usually we get dragged through emotional mud by ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So thank you guys for spending time with me, for being open and honest about all of your beliefs. And I was pretty honest too. I mean, I feel like I think that's demons or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I have a lot to learn. And now I understand what Lily who told me last time. She's like, you need to take more red pills. And I'm like, guys, I'm choking on red pills. How many more you want me to take? I can't take it no more.
Ruby, you need to not have, just pray for not having disruption in your home or anywhere around you. The fellowship of the Holy Spirit, whatever anybody believes, just good vibes.
Right. I believe that.
Say, I'm going to have good vibes around me.
Yes,
Period.
and something pushed me to start this political corner. Something pushed me to start the channel. Something pushed me to, even if it was bad, maybe like I went through something bad, it didn't matter. Like Jimmy said, it makes you stronger because you came out of there and you let the emotion go through. You felt it. You didn't hide it. Like I let that go through me. Like it just happened, right? And that's how I find myself. I find myself realizing a lot of things and just awakening again and again and again.
Ruby,
I wake up all the time.
Ruby, did you hear something in your head say, go, run? Do
I
it.
have dreams. I have dreams. I don't know if you guys remember when I told you guys that I have very vivid dreams that I could see myself doing something before I even do it. That's how I feel. I go to sleep and I dream something. And then I say, okay, this is what I'm going to do for this video. This is how the thumbnail is going to look like. This is the title. Like I literally have all of that in my dreams. And then I wake up the next day and I'm like, I'm going to do it. Every Tuesday, I'm going to do this. Go ahead, Lily.
Thank you for the compliment because it was really hard. Because, you know, I've been at this a long time and sometimes I get really frustrated with stupid and I get really frustrated with people who just, I know there's within them this ability that, you know, how you just said you have dreams. So here, you want to put this one in the bulletin board or in the queue. So one of those topics, to be able to know what it is to be inner knowing, or that dreaded word psychic, you know, or how you connect to your higher self, all of those subjects, because what you're talking about is definitely a thing. It's definitely a thing that you're experiencing as part of your evolving and waking up process to be able to have those lucid moments of dreams, but they're not necessarily dreams. It's your consciousness waking up.
Lily,
And
what do you think about that when you have those feelings and everything? Do you, I mean, the witnesses wouldn't even ever think about a dream. But how many messages in the Bible were sent by dreams?
Thank you,
absolutely.
Becky. Thank you.
Yep.
That's how I
That's a
feel. And I
great example.
Oh my God. Thank you for saying that, because I feel like sometimes I'm being forced to wake up. Like you
Mhm.
said earlier, Lily. Sometimes we're being forced. Like when I was
And
a
I
little,
wrote it.
yeah,
I
because
wrote it
it's
in my
like
email.
you know,
I did.
sometimes it gets me angry. Like, why me? Why my generation has to go through all this crap? When I was a little girl, everything was fine. I loved the willful, blissful ignorance that was the world when I was a little girl. And I grow up and I'm hitting all of these walls and I'm meeting and talking to all of these people that I would have never talked to in my life because I don't talk to people. But as soon as I got into the community and I'm surrounding myself with you guys, it's like push, that nudge. It's a nudge. Holy Spirit, the universe, a greater power. That's the nudge that I'm feeling. Even when I go to this church, like I'm trying to inquire into different things. And I talk to those Christians and they continue to push me to that realm, to that mystery, to
Well,
open your
yeah,
mind a little bit
Ruby,
more.
you're not kicking against the goads.
And
Ruby,
in circling back to what
you're not kicking against the goads. You're not a goat kicking against the goads of the stick. You're a sheep and you're finding your way. And we all are. I don't, it does not matter to me, color, religion, anything. It does not. We are all on our separate path. That is all. That's all I have to say about that one.
and what Culty Talk you had said earlier, and this is to bounce off of what Ruby just said. The concept of religion and Christianity and God and Jesus, all of those subjects, what does it mean? What does it mean to be spiritual versus spiritual, not religious? Well, Monica, you mentioned Monica Culty Talk. Monica is amazing for knowing about different religions. She touched on it a little bit tonight, but she didn't get to really say. She went from a born again Christian to a Hebrew something or another. I mean, she's covered the gamut of them, and she learned how to get on the other side of it. You know, and it's not necessarily about just giving up on the connection to source, the connection to creation. That's not what it's about. It's about not letting something control you or tell you in that JW way that we all know so well. Well, you have to do it this way, or you have to do it that way, or blah blah blah. It's like that's I I get really sad whenever people are stopping themselves once they get out of JW, because I'll tell you what, we were all prepared by being in JW to be amazing warriors, able to use our voices. We really were.
Thank you, Lily. Thank you, everybody. And I feel like I'm getting emotional again because I feel like I wouldn't be able to do this by myself. If I found this stuff out and I was by myself, like how I was by myself when I woke up from the cult, and how alone I was, and how suicidal I got, and how like I didn't believe in anything, and I didn't feel like I'd have a purpose. And so what am I doing here? Like that sent that void, that emptiness that you feel. If I would have gone into this, and it's been like, regardless of YouTube, in regular life, it's been happening. Certain little seeds get planted, and I'm like, whoa, I can't handle this mentally. I have to protect myself like a lot. But it's gonna happen. Like we can't just barricade ourselves forever. Like that's why I
You're
talk
not
about
alone, Ruby. You're never
Right.
alone. You might be lonely, but you're never alone.
Exactly, because I talk about this a lot, and I tell people how introverted I am, because I close that door because I don't want to learn nothing new. I don't want to get out of my comfort zone. It's like that fear and that scariness. And then somebody talks to me, like a stranger, or something comes up in my algorithm. Somebody posts something, and I'm like pushed again. And if I would have gone through this by myself, I don't know what I would have done. Like, I'm so glad that you're doing it with me, because I would not survive the thought process of waking up again and again and again. I wouldn't be able to do
You're
that.
stronger than you think. You are stronger than you believe, Ruby.
Yeah, I
That's
just
all
want to
I
say,
have to say.
I
You
just
have
wanted
the
to say one
strength in
thing.
you, and I can see the glowing, beautiful aura around you. It's lavender, by the way.
All right, guys, I'm going to end the stream. Thank you so much, everybody. So next Tuesday, I'm going to do a continuation of this. Probably talk about something that Monica said, something that Lily said, or Jimmy. If you have any ideas, DM me, because we have until next Tuesday to set it up. Okay?
Cool.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
Ruby.
Good night.
Have a
Later,
good
guys.
night.
Good night, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Let's do it about Trekkies.